Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here with Coach Spooney on the side of the field pre-game. Coach, 2-0. You've been beaten Coventry. You've beaten Nottingham already. How are you feeling about the start of your season?
Listen, 2-0 is as good a start as you can hope to have. I think performance-wise, Coventry game, we were really rusty. We didn't get a pre-season game this year, despite our best efforts, and so we were a bit rusty and we kind of had to crawl across the line. Week 2 against these guys, I was a bit more happy with the level of performance we put in, but still lots to work on. You know, it's still early on in the season, but I think we looked a lot sharper than we had done in week 1, so it was nice progress. And yeah, like I say, coming in 2-0 is a good start.
Yeah, it's great to hear. And looking at some of the stats, you've got a prolific quarterback, good running game. Who do we expect to see stand out for you today?
That might be our problem. Okay. Are we sure? That's not cable. What's this? There you go. You might have to move the mic.
It's an unusual start for the Caesars. They are 0-2 after the first 2 games. It was a close one against Newcastle several weeks ago, and then the long trip up to Scotland resulted in a 31-12 loss against today's opponents, the East Kilbride Pirates. The Caesars really have to start making something of their season. They only have 8 regular season games, and with a potential relegation on the line as well, they are going to have to turn it around. But today, they're for the second time this season, and the second time in 3 weeks on the bank holiday weekend, they will be taking on the Scottish team, the East Kilbride Pirates. My name is Simon Stockwell. Joining me in the booth today, as with last time, Lloyd Stone.
Hello.
Is that all the introduction I get from you? I was like, a bit of introduction, just get a hello. And of course, over on our left-hand side, as always, putting the American in American football, it is Sean Endicott.
Yar, the pirates be here in Nottingham.
That was one of the worst pirate accents I've ever heard.
I'm glad I just went with hello.
You did better. If you can hear noise in the background, netball is here today. We had korfball last time. This time we've got netball. But
Very high level netball, mind you. This is, I think, the finals.
yeah, this is the finals, and I think England netball are here looking for selection. So there's a lot of people playing for a lot of things down on the field today. So Nottingham season so far, Lloyd, 0-2. They have been struggling. It was 10-7 against the Vikings. A very close game, but people think the Vikings probably didn't quite do themselves justice there. And then 31-12 when they travelled up to Scotland. What's your read on their season so far?
It's always going to be a struggle when you're not scoring points, when you're not creating offence. If you look at what Nottingham have scored on, it's been one dump off pass that went a very long distance, one sustained drive. You really need to see more. There's been a lot of punting, there's been a lot of waiting on special teams to win the field possession game, and from a defensive point you want to see more secure tackling.
Yeah, definitely, and I think there's something to be said about the fact that they only conceded 10 against Newcastle. Sorry, so I'm just watching Sean try and move all the equipment to the floor as the chairs have been stolen.
Oh, shush. They don't need to know that.
They don't need to know that. But yeah, they only conceded 10 against the Vikings, against what was a very good quarterback in Donovan Piketty. And then it was 31 against East Kilbride, but there is the big travel up to Scotland. And that is a really long weekend for those guys. And now, earlier today, I caught up with the man who, I don't think anybody's ever used his proper name, Coach Spooney. I had a chat with him about how he thought his season has gone and what he's expecting of the game today. So I'll bring that to you just now. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here with Coach Spooney on the side of the field pre-game. Coach, 2-0. You've been beaten Coventry. You've beaten Nottingham already. How are you feeling about the start of your season?
Listen, 2-0 is as good a start as you can hope to have. I think performance-wise, Coventry game, we were really rusty. We didn't get a pre-season game this year, despite our best efforts, and so we were a bit rusty and we kind of had to crawl across the line. Week 2 against these guys, I was a bit more happy with the level of performance we put in, but still lots to work on. You know, it's still early on in the season, but I think we looked a lot sharper than we had done in week 1, so it was nice progress. And yeah, like I say, coming in 2-0 is a good start.
Yeah, it's great to hear. And looking at some of the stats, you've got a prolific quarterback, good running game. Who do we expect to see stand out for you today?
I mean, I think Fraser McDonald had a great game for us, 192 yards, 6 catches, 2 touchdowns in game 2 against these guys. He's come out really well. His younger brother, Aaron McDonald, we're looking forward to seeing him kind of break out. This is his first year at seniors as well. Our run game's strong. We've had Greg Black's been prolific for us. His twin brother, Matt's going to be playing today. Mark Stewart in the backfield as well. So we've got those guys. And Logan Gallagher's been a real sensation. He came in as our second quarterback after the injury to our starter Reese, and you know he's been like a sponge since he came in, so that's been great seeing him grow. And then defensively, we've got guys all over the field that can make plays. Our defensive line's been good so far, and we've got a strong linebacker core. So yeah, we're just looking forward to seeing guys let loose, and it's a great facility, a great field to play on. You know, it'll be a fast game, so it gives our guys a chance to make some plays.
And finally, it was 31-12 last time up in Scotland. The travel down here really takes a toll. People know when they have to travel to and from Scotland and England. It really makes these games difficult. How are you feeling about the game today?
Well, like you say, I mean, 31-12 was a comfortable win against these guys, but we were at home on our field. They had a long trip. It was an Easter weekend, so it makes it a really difficult thing for them. So now we're on the other side of that. You know, we're travelling down here. The bus left at sort of 6:30, 7. So it's been a long day, you know, before we get to a 4 o'clock kickoff. So the guys will be a little bit tired, but we'll make sure that the warm-ups reflect that and get the guys sharpened up. I don't expect the same sort of margin of victory necessarily, but I would hope that we can put on a good performance and that we can kind of continue doing the things that we're working in and find some holes that we identified in watching the film back. So I'm expecting a competitive game. These guys are good, and I don't think the scoreline of that game necessarily reflected it. You know, they had a great couple of years in Division 1, finally got across the line at the end of last year, and so we know they'll be solid, especially at home. So they're looking to kickstart their season. You know, they know that in an 8-game regular season, if you go 0-3, your season's pretty much over. So they need to come out here cooking. So we're expecting a really competitive game, and just looking forward to it. They're good guys, talented guys, and a good team, and they're well coached, and that's what you do this game for. You know.
Well, thank you very much, Coach. Best of luck in the game today.
Thank you.
So that was Coach Spooney there, head coach of the East Kilbride Pirates. And he was talking about his season, Lloyd. They have been really successful with that win over Coventry and then the win over the Nottingham Caesars. What do you make of this EKP team?
They were very impressive to watch on film. They were their outside zone, their passes to the boundaries, they were really successful at utilising all the space on the field. And they seem like a team that really are going out to play with intensity. Spooney is a real good leader of men, having played and coached with him before. He's one of those guys that really inspire the best out of his players.
Yeah, he's definitely someone you want to have as your head coach there. And he's really leading this EKP team as well. He's giving them a lot of energy. And you can see that on the film. We managed to watch the actual Nottingham versus EKP game up from in Scotland. And you can just see it on film. You can see the guys want to go and play for him. They've had a great season. EKP, they've done a great job of recruiting as well. They took a lot of the Edinburgh Wolves players who didn't want to move down when, Edinburgh was dropped out as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
So a lot of those guys have then gone and played for East Kilbride, given how close they are. And you can see they've got a really good roster. We've actually got their roster here. And, you know, this is a solid number of people to travel down. They were, as he said, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning for the bus, and it's for a 4 o'clock kickoff today. So they've done really well. Now, moving to their opponents, Nottingham Caesars, and it's almost a converse. It's 0-2 rather than 2-0. They've kind of struggled offensively, whereas EKP have done a reasonable job. They talked about maybe not so much with Coventry, but they handled their business with Nottingham. And I managed to speak again to Grant Lawless, the offensive coordinator and chairman of the Caesars, on the field earlier today. I'm here on the field pre-game with Grant Lawless, Nottingham Caesars offensive coordinator and chairman. Grant, it's been a difficult start to your Premiership campaign, 0-2. How are you feeling so far of this season?
Obviously disappointed. We've worked really hard, and we felt that we were in this league to be able to compete. We're still trying to push for that. Our expectations into every game is that we're aiming to win those, and there's no difference today. EKP, heck of a team. Spooney's done a really good job recruiting, great staff, great squad. So you have to take the wins and the losses as they come.
Yeah, you've had 2 games. It was 10-7 against the Newcastle Vikings, and then EKP, it was 31-12 when you had to travel up to them. It's a hell of a lot easier when they've got to come down to you rather than going back up to Scotland. How are you feeling about today's game?
Today's game is going to be really tough. I think the travel, I don't think we can take into account. They've travelled well, and they always tend to. They come down, they've got a really big squad, and they play physical football. They're going to be a really, really big challenge today.
And finally, you got anything up your sleeve for today's game? You've got a big point deficit to overturn from the first game. What are you looking at doing today?
Thanks, Simon. The plan today is to try and score more points than them. So providing we can do that, the win should take care of itself.
The team who scores the most points will win the game. Thank you very much, Grant.
You're welcome.
Grant Lawless there with the Michael Owen of comments. The team that will score the most points will win the game.
I'm glad they've figured it out now, and
2
before
games
the end
in.
of the season,
Yeah, 2 games
it's
in.
good to get it at least at some point.
Yeah, as long as they figure out at some point that they need to score more points than the other team, that's always a good one. But yeah, he was talking there about the step up between Division 1 and the Premiership, and this is something you've seen as well. There is a really big gap between Division 1 and Premiership. And now Newcastle came out last year and were able to dominate, but they partly did so through the players they managed to bring in from the Durham Saints. Nottingham, they are recruiting through the University of Nottingham, Nottingham Trent, Derby. You see all these helmets on the field. But what do you think about this step up? Do you think they are going to make this step up, or do you think they're going to struggle this season?
I think they will make this step up. I think it's not going to be easy. They're not used to losing. The last 2-3 years, they've started off really hot seasons, been almost undefeated. We're undefeated last year, only lost the year before, came against Northumbria. I think they need to figure out how to be an underdog and how to play when you're not the favourite.
Yeah, definitely. They've had 2 seasons effectively of steamrolling everyone but one team, who then went on to be about the fourth best team, we would say, last year in the country when it came down to, apologies if we get a buzzer beater coming down from the court. They were the Newcastle, then called Northumbria, now called Newcastle, were the fourth best team last year, behind the Warriors, the Aztecs and the Titans. And so after 2 years of steamrolling everyone, they're now looking at playing from behind, having to go to that passing game more. They relied so heavily on the run game, even with people like McGovern and Harrison. They still relied on that run game. So what do you want to see from them? Offensively first, what do you think the Caesars' identity needs to be?
Offensively, I think they need to try and get a bit heavier in the box. 4 or 5 wide receiver sets, lighter backs, and trying to run out of these. I think they need to get some bodies in there. I think they were better out of 11 personnel. I want to see maybe some 12, some 21 personnel potentially.
Yeah, so the one thing that they struggled with against Newcastle was the running lanes as well, and getting into 12 or 21 personnel would help with that. They would allow them to have that flexible moving, either the tight end or the fullback, and people like Coach Spooney know this very well. That fullback can create a lot of issues because it is a dynamic gap. He can then move somewhere and insert an extra gap, whether that's going to be between the A gap, B gap, C gap, or even as they go wide, like EKP do a lot of time on their outside zone. Now, defensively, it was only 10 points against Newcastle, and then it was a lot more against EKP. Sorry, we're just having some technical difficulties in the booth here. So they were struggling here against EKP. Sorry, yeah, we're just figuring out the microphone system up here. And one of the things that really you're looking at is how can they keep that score below, let's say, 21 points?
So from the film we've watched, it looked a lot better again when we were last here, but the tackling left a little bit to be desired when they went up. And that might be a problem with travelling up to Scotland. You might not have took all your best guys. You might have just had people tired from the bus journey. But a lot of missed tackles, a lot of broken tackles. I want to see these tacklers secure up, let the next person come and make a hit.
Yeah, definitely. And so we see the captains coming out here. We'll read you them off. Number 11 for East Kilbride Pirates is Ryan Miller. We've got number 57, that is David Akintola. Number 88, that is Fraser McDonald, and 82 is Andrew McBride. So they are your EKP Pirates for the Nottingham Caesars. Number 12, Liam McGovern. 22, Andrew Wilkins. And unfortunately, the roster for Nottingham has got a little bit muddled because they were expecting a new kit not yet to be delivered. So we've got 81, Josh Oluwatasson. I can't quite figure out who 21 is. But it looks like East Kilbride Pirates won the toss and elected to receive. So the Pirates will take the ball first. Big statement here from the Pirates. A lot of teams defer if they win the coin toss, but the Pirates want to take it.
They probably want to take the ball and set a statement on offense if they can. Get some points above the head and try and get this Nottingham Caesars team to get their heads down already.
Yeah, and one thing that has changed today is we expected the Caesars kit to change quietly. I'm not sure if Grant wants me mentioning that on the stream, but it's too late now. Grant, it's out. But look at this. We have blue lines on the field. The red lines have gone. Obviously, the BAFA rules changed, saying that you shouldn't really play with green and red lines. Of course, people who are colourblind. For those people who remember some university football, we used to have a receiver at the University of Nottingham who was very red-green colourblind. Once thought he caught a touchdown and he was 5 yards out of bounds. He was looking at the player's box. So that was always a classic one. But yeah, blue lines on the field now, and they really do pop on the screen as well. This is something ourselves, Sean as well, was saying. These blue lines make things so much easier to see, and we actually might be able to do some proper calls from up in the booth as opposed to saying, oh, I can't tell if he was in or out. You can definitely see it now. But it will be Nottingham to kick off. Lloyd, quick, final prediction for the game today.
21-12.
21-12. Who to? Are you gonna pick
I'm
a
not
winner?
going to tip that yet.
You're not going to tip a winner. That is disappointing. But we see this unusual kickoff formation here. But we are underway in Game 3 here for the Nottingham Caesars. It is a deep kick, and it looks like it's a fake reverse being taken up the far sideline by the Pirates. And he is going to be slammed out of bounds. That was number 88, Fraser McDonald, the captain, and under 19 graduate taking the ball out. But the Pirates will take over from their own 22.
And I think you will see a lot of special teams struggle today. Both of these teams use a very GB adjacent special teams playbook. Spooney being a previous GB special teams coordinator, Grant Lawless being a previous tight ends coach there at GB as well.
I once enjoyed, I was in a special teams meeting with Spoonie, and he said, I don't intend on kicking. Now, as a special teams coordinator, when your job is only to kick, I fully enjoyed that. But it looks like the Pirates will be led out, as Spoonie mentioned, by number 8 Logan Gallagher, and he will take that first snap. It's a handoff to Mark Stewart, but he gets beaten in the backfield. Absolutely slammed down there. And as we said, the Caesars roster is not the best today. I've got 5 photos on my phone while I try and figure out who everybody is. We're kind of used to it. We've got most of the names, but we will have to go from there. So first down, and it was a loss. Mark Stewart taking a big loss there, almost 5 yards on the outside zone. As you see, trips to the bottom of your screen with Gallagher in the gun, and he will take it. It looks like a play fake. He's going to throw it out, and that's a good catch there. That's number 3, Aaron McDonald, coming down with it before being thrown out of bounds.
Good work to get that catch, but I don't think he's made anything on there if he made any yards at all.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Gallagher was put under some heavy pressure there. You saw 2 defensive linemen get through, and then suddenly he's got to throw that out. He's done a good job throwing that out. Often quarterbacks, particularly as Spoonie talked about, who was going to be the backup quarterback, under pressure and not always the best. But that was a good throw there. But we're going to be in 3rd and long here for the Pirates. And it is pressure brought up the middle. Gallagher's still got the ball as he's chased from the backside. Uncorks it deep and uncorks it to nobody.
Good job to get the ball out, but that was a very stout pressure from the Nottingham Caesars defence, bringing that Mike linebacker in to just eat up the centre's block and allowing those D linemen to get in.
Yeah, that was number 22, the long-time Caesar, Andrew Wilkins. He's been a stalwart of this team for many years now. Coming through on the blitz, got through with the pressure and really applied it. Gallagher had to throw it deep as we see the Pirates come out to punt. That is Dan Crawley, number 2 there, back to punt. As we, it's an interesting punt formation. You usually see people a bit closer, although it's, again, a GB adjacent punt, shall we say. The snap is back, and it is a low line drive of a punt, and it checks up. It's going to take a Nottingham bounce, and it will eventually roll down as the Caesars will take over from their own 32-yard line.
And you can tell which yard line it is because you can see it.
I know, what a change we've got here. Blue lines. Thank you, University of Nottingham. We can see the lines. So, interesting start there, Lloyd. It was a 3 and out. It was a big loss, a completion under pressure for almost no gain, and then a heave deep with heavy pressure. Have the Caesars come out with a really aggressive defensive mindset today?
Let's see. I hope so. That wasn't the statement you think that EKP were wanting to make when they took the ball from the kickoff.
No, definitely not. And something that privately we had a chat with Grant Lawless. He talked today about the fact they have not used their running back depth and immediately has come back out in that 2-back personnel like you wanted to see. And it's split zone, handoff to Sam Fraser, number 2, going round the outside, takes it up, and it is going to be taken down after a gain of 8, but I'm almost certain that's going to come back for a holding penalty. You can see a flag there between the 3 and the 0 of the 30. We can even point out where the flags are today on screen. The last thing we need is a ref mic and a pencil so I can do the drawings. There we are. I think this is going to come back for a holding penalty.
Yeah, they seem to be walking in that direction, don't they?
They do indeed. Now, unfortunately, I forgot to get her an officials roster. So what we will do is flash up the BAFA recruitment. I always do this. I'll say I do this for BAFA every time. If you're interested in becoming an official, much like Sean Endicott over here, who's taken the course.
I registered and they got in touch really quickly. They know that I coach summer ball, so they've been very helpful. They said, we'll work with you if we need to set up a mentor that lines up with your coursework better as we get back to play.
That is McGovern, and McGovern is picked off his opening pass,
No!
and it is stripped out. Harrison strips the ball out, and that will be a first down for the Caesars. Unbelievable, as it looks like we've... I thought we had a player down now. It's just a lineman diving on
What
the
a
ball.
wild play.
That is a wild play. So Liam McGovern there throws the interception, and the referees are having a conflab here. This should be a first down for the Caesars. So for those of you, we know some people that watch this, you might be friends and family of the players on the field today. As soon as the ball turns over, the Pirates are effectively given a first down. Then if the ball is then stripped out and given back to the Caesars, it doesn't mean that the down counted as it does, because the Pirates got a first down, and then as soon as the ball is stripped out and the Caesars recover it, they get a first down. So it is now 1st and 10.
You get a first down. You get
the
a first down.
Everyone gets a first down. So First and 10 here for the Caesars. They've ended up going back 4 yards. It's all chaos here at the start of the game. So this is now officially the Caesars' second drive. The Pirates' second drive consisted of a fumble. Absolute chaos here as we see a triple option. Liam McGovern he pitches that out. I believe that is Welly T there, taking the ball up, a gain of 4 or 5 yards. And look at that, split back triple option as well. Brad Lawless is going into the 1980s school of playbook here to really go for some heavy running.
He clearly wants to establish the run. He clearly wants to get back to that mentality that he thinks he's got the players for. What I will say is that is Liam's 5th interception on the year, and he's had a few that have just dropped out of the way of harm, similar to that as well.
Yeah, 5 interceptions on the year for McGovern, a quarterback who's known for his intelligence, but again, are we talking about that step up from D1? And somehow McGovern manages to corral that ball, but it is going to be a heavy loss here. A loss of 6 yards on the play. It was short snapped by the centre and comes back. McGovern did very well not to have his knee down when he picked that ball up and got it out to what looked like Sam Fraser. But there's very little you can do in that scenario. All of the timing is gone. You're just trying to recover what you can.
It is so essential to get that centre quarterback exchange correct, because the timing and just where people are moving to is completely ruined as soon as that's even a half a second off.
Yeah, Liam McGovern, he's thrown for 350 yards across the first 2 games. It's 175 yards a game, particularly in adult football. It's a really respectable total. But those 4 interceptions and only 2 touchdowns is really hurting him, as this time he short arms it again, looking for Wellington Taffrey out of the backfield. And it's something, again, this is how they scored in their Newcastle game. A short dump out of the backfield, and Sam Fraser did some work with them. And we're looking again at Caesars that for the last 2 years, they've been able to push the ball deep. You've got Ben Harrison, Josh Oluwatassin when he's been healthy. They've had so many receivers, and now they just don't feel like they can push that ball deep.
No, there's clearly, whether it's something schematic or whether they're not seeing it downfield, they're struggling to make those deeper shots that we saw EKP make on film, where they were hitting those deep posts, those slant routes.
And that was a big punt there. Ball is kicked out, but I don't know whether that was fair caught or his knee came down. I did see him stumble a little bit, but the Pirates will take over on what is officially their 3rd drive of the game from their 30-yard line.
Did you see the long snap on that?
I did not.
There's a bullet. Who's the long snapper today?
Maybe Andrew
We've got
Wilkins.
the starting players rosters.
That's fair.
Right.
It's really good.
Long snapper for a long time has been Andrew Wilkins. So
Long snapping in the UK is not a strength, so it's always nice to see.
You mean that Nottingham didn't have an outstanding long snapper for a really long time? As we see Gallagher drop back, play fake, and he throws it deep, and it is just out of the reach there. Is that McDonald? It is. Fraser McDonald there was the intended target on the post. Gallagher just long on the pass. I mean, it's better to be long than short, but we've seen a couple of deep passes so far today.
Sorry, Lloyd, go ahead.
They're clearly not afraid to air it out. They are trying to attack this Nottingham defence, even with that 4-man shell. They're playing quite far off. Yeah, maybe just a little bit of a let up from number 88. I think maybe he could have ran under that one.
Yeah, potentially. Got jet motion here and a follow on the power. Mark Stewart is a big running back, and you can see it here. He's managed to bulldoze his way forward for about 4 yards. We've got number 6 there. That was Struan Bailey on the jet sweep. And what people can't see is we've got the East Kilbride Pirates roster in front of us. And they've marked up every under-19 graduate they've got. And it is genuinely outstanding how many they have. It's about half the team.
It's incredible to see such development from that youth movement, and to get more players into your team that have been around your system for so long as well.
And they're a great side. I coached against them in the Northern Final last year, and some of these players I recognise from having to scout and coach against them.
So Gallagher, toss out, Stewart, nowhere to go, and he's going to be taken down. One man there to contain him, and the second and third going to clear up. So this will be, if my maths is correct, 4th down and 8 incoming. So the Pirates, after 2 offensive drives, have only really gained about 2 yards. So really an understated start, shall we say, for the Pirates.
They didn't come out super hot at home. However, they did seem to be able to get the outside and get those swings and those jet sweeps off. We've seen them not really struggle. Nottingham's defence has been quite quick flowing to the boundary today.
Yeah, it has been an aggressive defence, and I think that's how they've got to play. The snap is back, but I wonder if we had a false start. as we see a flag come out from the bottom of the screen just above our Precision Proco, one of our sponsors for this year. You could just see the flag pop up there. One would be a miss not to mention the Beer Keller as well, one of the other sponsors for this season. Let's get them both in while we're here.
Yeah.
So it does look like we're moving back 5 yards to the Pirates. 4th and 13 here. Again, 5 up on the line, 2 up backs. And yes, this, let's call it GB adjacent punt formation. The ball was low, almost blocked by number 59 of the Caesars. It's going to take a Pirates bounce. It's going to keep taking a Pirates bounce. Going to roll inside the 20 and going to be down at the 16-yard line by number 35, who I've checked is not on our roster.
Well done to that man, whoever he may be.
Whoever you are, let's call you. Let's say you're Christopher Pollock in number 34. That's as close as I can get. This is how it works.
So really, really good to get that punt away, as that long snap didn't seem to come out quite right.
Yeah, it just dropped at the feet of the punter there. So a good job to pick that up and get the ball away. And it's a good flip of field position. Now, interception on the last drive, not officially, but interception on the last drive in a 2-back set. Fake almost to Fraser, and that is a throw out to Ben Harrison. Someone I saw on TikTok, what a statement I'm making here. I saw on the Nottingham Caesars TikTok, go follow it if you haven't seen it. They're actually doing some quite good work there. That someone called 87 it was, I believe, a 2010s Patriots tight end. Now, which one of those they were referring to, I'm unsure. But obviously in 87, he looks like Gronk, and he's playing like Gronk today.
Was his nickname back at NTU as well.
Yeah, that really doesn't surprise me there. Ben Harrison is an outstanding receiver on the outside. Really big, tough, physical. And he can show what he can do. And look at this, 2 backs and a fullback in the backfield. And it is a handoff to Wellington Tafrei. He's going to try and make a move inside. And, it's going to be a scrum. There is going to be a pile push. And we're just going to wait and see where this one's marked, because I am unsure. We haven't got a whistle. That's a really generous spot from the officials there. They're going to spot that up at the 26-yard line.
Even the officials love it when they see the airline get behind the runner and start moving the ball. It just makes everyone happy.
I've always said that there's a disproportionate number of former O-line that officiate. So I think they just let it happen. They're definitely there like, is forward progress stopped? Nah, I think we're going to get scrum. We'll be fine here. So big test for the Caesars. 3rd and 1 incoming. A really condensed formation. To either side, jet sweep motion incoming. Wellington Tafrei has to dodge out of the way of the jet, and we're just going to wait and see if he got it. I don't think he is. We're looking at that top line judge to see if they're going to call it. And no, they will call it 4th down. Maybe having to duck out of the way of what looked like Oluwatassin has caused him just to come up inches short here.
But they're not making any move to get off the field.
They're not, and when you lost the previous game by 19 points, even though you did have to travel up to Scotland and stay the weekend, you know that you're going to have to try and take scores off EKP and be aggressive. And that's what they're doing here. Tafrei is a downhill running back. He is a big running back, and there is a jump there. They are going to call it. They're going to let the play go. McGovern has Ben Harrison. No, he hasn't brought that in. But you could see the single hand he tried to take it down. But that's a great play by McGovern. Throw it up to your big receiver, even though he's double covered. It doesn't matter. The nose tackle jumped offside there. And that is unfortunate for the Pirates, as they will be giving the Caesars a 1st down on 4th and inches. But it's something you've got to look out for, the hard count there.
Yeah, Nottingham like to use this. They don't change up their cadence as much as other teams. They don't have different sounds, but they will catch you off with these cold calls.
So, 1st down and 10 incoming for the Caesars. That is Sam Fraser motioning into the backfield. It's going to be that triple option again. It will be the pitch to Fraser again. Makes one miss, will be taken down by the second from behind. That was a great tackle there from number 90. That's Sean Dickey, another under-19 graduate of this Pirate system.
Incredible stuff. We're seeing Nottingham come out with some more beefier formations. We're seeing a lot more tight end involvement than we did last year. I've seen very little trip stack to the boundary.
Yeah, definitely.
And I like that orbit return for the triple option. So there's a bunch of different ways to set that up, and you don't just want to make it the same every time. You want to get to the same play from different looks and formations.
We talk about beefy formations as we see the mesh here. I think that was aiming for Gabriel Ojo, number 88, coming across on the little drag route. I wonder if McGovern just overthrew him there.
Lloyd, I think what we're starting to see here, if you look from that O-line, a little bit of inconsistency up front. I think McGovern didn't realize he had time on that play. You know, some plays you don't have time, then your clock changes.
Yeah.
And here you say kind of short-armed the throw, but he really had time in the pocket, didn't he?
There an opportunity to maybe set his feet, get that ball out a little clearer.
So 3rd and long here for the Caesars. We see that orbit motion again from Fraser, and it's going to be thrown over. Gabriel Ojo cannot bring it in. It's going to be incomplete. That was great coverage there. Number 56, Lewis Smith of the Pirates coming across. And again, number 90, Sean Dickey in on the play. So 4th down, and this time the punt formation will be coming on for the Caesars.
Yeah, good work from number 90 there. He seems to be flying around the place on their defence. Good one to watch as we go through the game. For Nottingham, I wouldn't be too upset. You have created a bit of offence here, although it did take you getting them to go offside. It's a bit more effective than we saw last week. Keep trying to build on that.
Yeah, and it's something you always just want to keep building, particularly at the start of games. Some people don't realise that offensive coordinators will do what's called scripting. So they'll have 10 or 15 plays. They want to see what happens as we see the snap back. The punt is away. We'll carry on this conversation in a second. That is a deep punt that's going to be taken in there by the Pirates returner before being knocked out of bounds. Number 6, Struan Bailey there, the returner in red. But yeah, offensive coordinators will script 10 or 15 plays. They want to see how the defense will adjust. Maybe they've seen something on tape they like, and they just want to try it out and see if they can come back to it later in the game. And I wonder if Grant Lawless is still in that phase. He's still in the scripted phase of trying to work out what he can run, what he can't run.
Yeah, I can imagine it's very similar to a boxer just giving a little jab out, seeing where the guard is, seeing how you're going to react, how you're going to move before you try and come in with those bigger hits.
3 down on the line for Caesars as we see pressure being brought. Number 22, Andrew Wilkins, and it's straight in the backfield, and Stewart goes down again. Mark Stewart has had no running room so far today. The former University of Stirling player really struggling here out the backfield for the Pirates. An enormous loss there on the outside zone handoff.
Yeah, I had a chat with Caesars DC Simon Hammond just before the game, and he was really preaching how they want to get back into the backfield. They want to make sure they're securing up those first tackles and making space for the other players to come in. Good discipline there by the Nottingham Caesars defence not to go offside. You saw a few people take a step, but they all managed to get back.
Very light box here for the Caesars. The pass is going to be thrown out, and it is going to be taken down. Trying to get a number for the receiver there as we just watch him stand up. I'm trying to work out who the defender was as well. But it looks like number 88 on the reception there, Fraser McDonald, the game captain for the Pirates. Now, obviously, the Caesars are missing Andy Wilson, who's normally been starting at corner. I did tell him to get a grip, and he said the surgeon didn't allow him to play. And I think if a surgeon says you probably shouldn't play, that's really the time you start to listen.
Yeah, I think he'll be grateful for that later in life when it doesn't hurt as much.
But 3rd and long here for the Pirates as something has gone wrong. You see the flag coming in from the line judge at the top of the screen. I'm just going to wait and see. It is a false start called. The Pirates jumped early. Ill discipline from the Pirates here as well. We've seen a couple of offensive penalties and a defensive penalty that cost them a 4th down turnover almost. So something they can clear up, but now 3rd and long here for Gallagher. He's got a long way to go.
And looking quite frustrated after that false start there as well.
Gallagher is going to go to the air. He has got heavy pressure, scrambling from behind, and he's eventually going to be taken down. The swarm of Burgundy comes in, and he will go down as there's a bit of a fisticuffs, and a flag has come out. It's always interesting to try and work out which way these ones go. But Gallagher, he's really good under pressure actually. Manages to scramble out, step up through the running lane, and manages to I think he's picked up a few yards there, obviously not for the 1st down, as we kind of waffle over the referees as they have their conflap. But yeah, 3rd down, so this is either probably 15 yards back against the Pirates, or 15 yards against the Caesars.
Yeah, and while we don't have the referees there, we can see Jed, not in his white cap today, but saying something around, hopefully going to give us a point in either direction. We've got numbers being written down, so we might have an sportsman most likely.
Yeah, potentially. We're, let's see. I do promise every year that we'll get an official's mic, and there are 2 penalties on the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Pirates, it's against somebody. Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Caesars. If they were after the play was over, they will offset, and by the looks of it, they will. It will be 4th down here. So 1 penalty against the Pirates, 1 penalty against the Caesars. 1 on each team is now 1 more unsportsmanlike from disqualification. As we see the punt team come back out, it looks like Dan Crawley again back out to punt.
And fortunately for the Pirates, their punts have gone their way at the moment. They're going to be hoping to get Nottingham back into poor field position again.
It's a high snap though, and it is blocked. Number 34 of the Caesars gets through. Who's going to pick it up though? It is going to be picked up by the Caesars. Will he fall in for the touchdown?
Oh,
no,
no,
he will be short. But the Caesars will take over 1st and goal from the 2-yard line. And Lloyd, the blocked punt is one of the biggest swings you can get in American football. And I once heard a stat, unfortunately, this was a Jason Scott stat, who I sometimes question the legitimacy the validity of his stats. But I once heard him say that if you block a punt, you will suddenly become 21% more likely to win a game. This is such a big turning point in this game already.
Well, you've gone effectively from pinning Nottingham at their own 20, trying to fight for 60 yards of field to be able to score, 70 yards, sorry, it's 90 yards, to they've got 2 yards to go with 4 downs.
They do, and they're split back in the backfield. Will we see heavy leads? We will. It's a lead up from Wellington to Frey. Has the running back got in? I think they're going to mark him at the inch line, and they will do. Now, we've seen before what's been known as the beast formation from the Nottingham Caesars. 7, 8 offensive linemen can trot out onto the field, and I wonder whether that is what's going to be called here.
Yeah, you would be expecting to see some bigger formation. We did see 20 personnel there. We had 2 backs, but I'd want to see a couple of tight ends in here really get some heft in behind those blocks. And we do have a tight end now in the sniffer/fullback position.
Yeah, that looks like Gabriel Ojo there, number 88. As you see 3 Pirates over the nose, they are going to cut, they're going to submarine, but the Caesars will push their way forward 4-6. The Caesars strike first against the Pirates here and take the lead 6-0.
And that is exactly what you want if you're Nottingham right now. Just give yourself that opportunity to be in the lead. Give yourselves not having to play from behind, not having to push that ball downfield because you need to make scores quicker and quicker.
Yeah, and that's something that can always be said. Playing from the lead is always so helpful because suddenly you're not like, I have to pass the ball, I'm running out of time. You can just play your game as we wait to see what happens on the extra point. It was a bit shaky previously, but the snap is back, kick down, kick is away, and we wait for the signal. The kick is good. The Nottingham Caesars lead 7-0 here in the BAFA Premiership in game week number 4.
Thank you to the tennis players giving us the football back. They're just off the screen now. I don't. They haven't agreed to be filmed or not, so I'm going to pan away. But we do have some tennis players trying to kick the football over a fence to us.
So I've had a quick read of the roster. The touchdown scorer there was Sam Lacey, the running back, and something again. Grant Lawless talked about it. Running back depth. We have already seen Sam Lacey, Sam Fraser, Wellington Taffrey. We know that Chris Baby, the power lifter, is there as a what I sometimes call a fullback role. I think Chris Baby often he likes to think of himself as a running back. He's definitely a fullback. But big turnover there, and suddenly 2 yards to go. As some people will occasionally text me as Lloyd is now looking at my WhatsApp and wondering who is messaging me. So we've got people watching the stream. We've got some people. Oh, Henry Scanlon saying, "Come on, the boys. He's not playing today." As the ball is kicked off, kicked deep, and the Pirates will return, going up the middle. But the swarm of burgundy and white is there, and he will be taken down.
Yeah, really good to see. As we said earlier, they're used to each other's special teams. They're very GB adjacent, and they're not getting the exchanges. Tried to just go for a simple up the middle run there, and lane discipline was critical from the Nottingham team.
Yeah, I've also had the text, and he's in the comments. Stuart Andrew, the GB Jason playbook. I think that's fair. I think everybody knows that. But we've got Henry Scanlon in the comments. I also know that Lewis Thomas of the Paris Musketeers. We've got ELF talent watching the stream today, folks. Wow. This is where you could go. Lewis Thomas, outstanding guard in the European League, and that's all the nice things I'm going to say about you, Lewis. Jet motion almost from Bailey, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be called a false start. It is. It looks like the left tackle jumped early. Number 73, Andrew Watts there. not quite hearing the snap count, but interesting that the Pirates went into a fullback formation there. Brought the receiver in as a fullback. It looked like it was going to be a handoff to Stewart.
Yeah, and you do like to see some adjustments in your formations. Show them something they've not seen. Is it better to just get a real fullback in there? And we've gone for the same motion play almost.
But Stewart has made an absolute hole through there. He is a bowling ball of a running back, and he's picked up a good 8 yards on that play there.
Simon, that's the EKP style of running you and I are used to. If you've watched this game, a brick ball for a long time, you can expect that from EKP.
Yeah. Hard running, hard hitting. I think you expect it from most of the Scotland teams, actually.
Yeah, they're just tough people up there.
I remember playing Stirling and having to watch Glasgow film. There it is. Gallagher drops back. Clean pocket. Deep pass. It's Bailey. Deep down the middle. The post route as Andrew Wilkins tries to hawk him down. But he will not. The prettiest ball in football is thrown there as Gallagher to Bailey is the connection. And the Pirates strike back.
And the quality of that pocket, he had no pressure in his face. He could set his feet, deliver that ball, and really made a beautiful strike.
That was an outstanding ball by Gallagher. And this is what Spoonie talked about as well. He's a great quarterback, really. Good pressure, good pocket presence, as the pressure came. And we're just looking here. The Pirates will go for 2.
Ooh.
Now,
I do like to see a team go for 2. We've got a late substitution here by Nottingham, or a late man to the field.
I wonder whether this will be Mark Stewart following up behind the fullback here. And it will be Mark Stewart. He's going to be met in the hole by the burgundy and yellow. And he will go nowhere. The score will stay 7-6 in the Caesars' favour.
And it's a real bold decision. Their kicker might not be here today, you don't know. But if they've chose to give away those almost secure PAT, you expect to get that a lot more than the 2 point. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite them.
Yeah, I mean, this is seen around the league sometimes that kicking is semi-difficult. It's not always straightforward. This isn't like the NFL where back when they used to kick the PATs from the 3-yard line, they were effectively guaranteed. It's a little bit more difficult. But you also see some teams, much like the UWE Bullets in the Bucks League, they think that they can score 2 more than 50% of the time. So the numbers say you go for 2 every time. I wonder whether EKP are in the same boat here.
Simon, I think as a coach as well, particularly with limited practice time, a lot of coaches make the decision to say, which would I rather have? A play we can run on any 3rd or 4th and short, that's also a 2-point conversion play, as we see the kickoff here.
It is. It's kicked deep. And will it be a handoff? No, it will not. The returner will go up the far sideline. He's got some room, and he's going to be taken out of bounds, but it's going to be around the 40-yard line. 5 yards short of the halfway here for the Caesars.
Sorry, just to finish my thought, a lot of people have to prioritize how much time do I spend on this, and you say, well, if we work on a play that can work 2 to 3 yards, then we can use that on offense. But a kick is only good for a kick. You have to weigh it. I mean, there's pros and cons. It depends how many returners you have as well.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, as a coach, I would always want to have as long a kicking range to try and get those 3 points as well. But
for what it's worth, EKP, their under-19 team, I believe they actually have installed a speed option kick where the holder gets up and runs and then pitches it to the kicker or something like that.
Yeah,
so maybe the adult team can have something like that too.
I've seen that before. Now, I wonder what happened here because I didn't see a flag on the play, but the Caesars have been moved back about 15 yards. So I wonder whether there was something we didn't catch. But McGovern will take over from much deeper as it is a handoff to Taffrey. Makes the first man miss. Makes the second man miss. Going to be taken down. But hard running there from Taffrey as he's going to pick up the first down.
And that is not what... We didn't see any of this last time we were watching the guys. We weren't seeing these 11-yard runs, getting downhill quickly, making people miss. And this is what Nottingham want to be able to do.
Yeah, and as I've been asked to say hello to the rest of the Paris Musketeers who are watching. Apparently, there's a cohort of them watching this stream at the moment. So hello to all of you over there in France
with Coach Del Rio.
Exactly, NFL talent over in Europe as McGovern snapped back, and it is going to be well caught there. Gabriel Ojo, I believe that is number 88. Again, a first down. So 2 11-yard plays back to back here for the Caesars, and you almost feel maybe a little bit of momentum here. You just want to see the Caesars get a couple more, get down to that red zone, and they can really start pushing.
Yeah, and here they've targeted their tight end on the over route, and it's really worked for them. Getting those bigger bodies in doesn't just help with your run game, it gives you those drop-off options in the pass game, which we saw be Sam Fraser's last week and the week before.
Yes, definitely. And it's an interesting defense here from the Pirates. They're playing out and wide as it's going to be a handoff up the middle. It looks like Sam Lacey, the touchdown scorer, just being taken down by the ankles. Gain of around a yard here for the Caesars. But there's just, you feel like the Caesars are starting to build a bit of confidence against this Pirates team. And particularly when you're playing a team you've immediately just lost to as well. That's something you really need to do.
Yeah, it's not giving you... They've had 2 weeks to make adjustments. They've had time to decide where they want to come from, but also the other team has as well. They've seen what you've got and what you want to bring. Seen a very heavy formation here.
Yeah, tight end and Ben Harrison into the bottom of your screen. Oh, and we're going to the Caesars. They're going to flex those players out, see how the Pirates adjust. It will be a handoff to Taffray. He's got some space. He's got a great block from Oliver Tassin, and he's going to be taken out. There is a flag on the side of the field, though. I feel like it wasn't Oliver Tassin on the block. Apologies. It looks like Oliver Tassin is going to be done for the hold.
That's jokes. That's such a good block.
We'll have no zebra abuse on the stream, guys.
I mean, look, the ref's closer than me, so they might be right. But from here, it looked clean.
I'm just trying to have a look to see. Was that a holding call? I looked up just too late.
Yeah, just a hold.
It was a holding call. That is a disappointment there, as it's going to be taken back 10 yards. But it's 10 yards from the spot of the foul when they're down that far. So it's now going to be 2nd and 12. Can I just check the chains? Yeah, 2nd and 12. So not a horrendous loss when you compare it to the previous play.
No, if you can get 11 yards on your last 2 plays, you can hope here for 5 or 6 yards, maybe get yourself into a 3rd down and manageable.
It's going to be one tight end on the line. Oh, there was a small jump, but they're not going to call it offside. McGovern is going to throw the ball up, however, and it's going to be incomplete. I don't think the offside was called. As a former nose tackle who has occasionally jumped like that, sometimes you are definitely not offside because your hand is still on the dirt.
Yeah, but Simon, they've changed the rules since you played. Remember, this year there's a point of emphasis about defensive linemen making movements towards the line at the start of, to simulate the start of the play.
This is what I call crybaby football.
It's changed since
Hey,
I
I'm
did it,
just-
so it's...
I'm just-
Oh, back in my day.
Yeah.
As we see, snap back, McGovern with a quick play fake. He's going to look deep. He's going to look to the sticks. It's going to be taken in, but he is not going to have the 1st down. And a real conundrum here for the Caesars. Is that Oliver Tassin? I believe it is, looking at... we have nothing but body type here. And the fact that we know these guys. It looks like Oliver Tassin, number 81. Although I feel like that's quite a harsh spot.
Yeah,
But Caesars got a generous spot earlier, so they get a harsh spot here.
It all comes and goes, doesn't it?
It does. This is a real conundrum. 4th and 4 here. What I thought was going to be 4th and 2, which is why I was like, do you keep the offense on here? 4th and 4. I wonder, either is going to be the offense kept on the field. The Caesars have been playing well, and we're going to see what they can do. Split back in the backfield. They are going high tempo. The ball is going to be thrown out. That's Chris Baby, and he's going to fall down well short of the 1st down. That's Chris Baby, the fullback, and I don't even think that will count as a reception for him because I think the ball went backwards. I think that will count him as a negative 1 yard rush.
And even if he had dropped it, there was a man on him the entire way. He was going to be met. Chris Baby might have made somebody miss, but that play wasn't going to get them where they wanted to go.
I think that's probably outsmarting yourself a little bit. It's hard. Obviously, I don't have all the scouts and everything like that. I would say, in that situation, there's probably plays that you've done pretty consistently throughout the last few games that you could have gone to. But hey, that sets something up for later as well.
Yeah, it does indeed. As we now see the Pirates come out onto the field, do we have a quarter change?
If we do, it's almost a no-tackle dream that we spoke about.
We do have the quarter change, Sean, and it's on the halfway line.
The dream.
The dream has occurred. They might have had to move the hashes, but to be fair, it's not a nose tackle's dream because they've only just walked back out into the field. So you're almost there. If you could have allowed us one more play, we'd have had a proper cheer here in the booth as some former linemen who love seeing the quarter change right at the halfway line. but the Pirates will take over with Bailey motioning into the king fullback position. Stewart is the running back, and Stewart will barrel his way forward. Big game, and the scrum occurs for the Pirates this time. Stewart, he's such a big running back to try and take down. I'm sure I remember him playing linebacker for the University of Stirling, and the terrifyingness of a linebacker transferring to running back as let's have a throwback here. 2017, the University of Nottingham Trent varsity. David Inzinian trying to tackle him, the linebacker who got brought in to play power running back.
Were you in that game?
I was briefly in that game. Let's put it that
was
way.
a fun one.
It wasn't for us.
Well, I was on Trent's side.
Gallagher dropped back. It's not going to be called a hold. We see no flag. Gallagher gets it away to Bailey, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds after the first down. I don't think we see a flag, so Sean, I know what you mean. I think that's one of those kind of, they often don't throw those, the little grab just to try and get at the quarterback.
Let the boys play.
Let the boys play.
I guess.
EKP really taking advantage of this gift almost that Nottingham gave them by turning over.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting here. EKP playing with a little less tempo than I expected. I expected a touch more speed out of them and out of Spoonie here. But we see number 28, that's Dougie Meachin there, motioning into the fullback. He swapped in for Bailey after that previous play, and it is Stewart running outside. The ball's out, the ball's on the floor. Who's going to fall on it? I think the Pirates are just about falling that. I think Fraser McDonald might be the man, number 88 at the bottom of that pile, but there is going to be a fight underneath that pile for the ball. Oh, it's not McDonald. He's definitely not got it. He's standing up without the ball. And it is Caesar's ball. Stewart fumbles, and it is turned over. That looks like Marshall Odonore coming up with the ball there.
Incredible. And as I was talking to Simon DC earlier today, he said the emphasis has been tackle, tackle, tackle. And they're clearly getting there. Even a little peanut punch to get that ball out there as well.
So,
I understand that Caesars over the last couple of years have come out in this very modern offense that can run and shoot, but I must say there's something primordial inside the Caesar soul in me when there's just this like ground and pound run game, split backs and tight ends, and then this really physical defense. It just kind of takes you back.
It's good for the soul, isn't it?
yeah,
it really
as linemen, we all love to see it, really. But split back again, it is a jump
They
offside.
called it that time.
And McGovern will throw the ball deep, and it is going to be incomplete, targeting his receiver down at the bottom, Josh Oluwatassin. Nowhere to go with that. Almost seems double covered, and you can see Spoonie is furious on the sideline with the jump offside. And the player number 24, Yusuf Beitu, is going to be subbed off for it.
Well, has he had a couple already now? Since they've been the same guy. You don't get many offsides before Coach takes you out.
No, definitely not.
And sometimes even if it's your first one, it's good to get them off, get them to cool down, especially him being an under-19 grad, he might be a younger guy. You want to keep those emotions low while you're a little bit behind, give you guys a chance to come out and perform afterwards.
Yeah, this is a really interesting game down 1 point, but it's been a real ding-dong game here for the Pirates. 4 on the line for them, 3 linebackers, and they've had a really quick defensive back play all day. As it's going to be a handoff up the middle. Is that Sam Fraser? I believe it is. It's going to be another big run for the Caesars. The Caesars' identity of previous years of ground and pound seems to be coming back today as the sun comes out here in Nottingham.
Sam Fraser, nothing fancy after the run, just flick it to the ref like been there before and getting set up to go again. Are we going to see Nottingham move with a little bit more tempo here, I think?
Well, Nottingham have been playing with a lot more tempo than the Pirates, and I expected this to be the other way around. I expected methodical from the Caesars. Keep the Pirates off the field where you can, run the clock down, and the Pirates to go with a bit of tempo. It really seems the other way around here. It is McGovern. It's quick out to Oluwatassin. There are 2 guys on him already. 3 white Pirate shirts to bring him down. I was going to say, if that one's called, I was going to say that's quite unfair because you could never quite see that his foot had gone out.
Well, you can now.
But you can now. Well, the folks at home can't because the scorebug's in the way for that one. Sorry, Sean. Sean doesn't have the scorebug. We run our cameras off one computer and we run the stream off another because otherwise it just doesn't work.
Well, I'm sorry. No, but the guy actually who could have done a late hit actually purposely struck to the off.
Yeah.
Like he was running up to hit and then he didn't hit him.
He did a good job. 2 backs, 1 full back. It's Tafrey to the left-hand side on the outside zone. What can he do? He can make a first down for the Caesars. Tafrey jumped through the tackle of the first man and gets taken down by the second and third, but not after picking up another Caesars first down.
And what you're seeing on the sideline is something we didn't see last time we were here. We've seen some real juice from the guys on the sideline, getting their guys hyped up when they come off the field. Welly's made a really good run to our sideline, and the people hyping up, people excited to be in this game.
Yeah, they are. And what I love to see is that any running back can get the ball. We've got Fraser and Tafrey in the backfield now. You do not know which way this run's going. Sometimes if you had Chris Baby in, maybe you would know it's going behind Baby. But this time it's behind Fraser. Hurdles the man as he goes over the top. And he's going to be taken down 15 yards. But put that on the cover. Go to Sports Centre, young man. You can have that. That is a top 10 play as he picks up another Caesars first down.
Oh, there's nothing worse than looking up and being like, that's the man I meant to tackle.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness.
You could hear it in the booth. All three of us were absolutely ecstatic at that one as a timeout is taken by East Kilbride. They want to recover after that one.
Yeah, that man some milk.
Oh wow, let's just talk about what happened there. Sam Fraser is so athletic and we saw it all of last season. And then again, during the first game against Newcastle, he just hurdles a man like he's not there. Sean is pulling up the replay on the screen. You won't be able to see it, but we can. It was a handoff inside to Fraser, and the defender was stood there, ready to make that square-on tackle. Goes for the knees, and Fraser, I think Fraser's jumping before the defender, has even got down into posture to make the tackle. That is just an outstanding piece of athleticism there by Sam Fraser.
And it's not just the jump over the mat, it's not just the hurdle, it's that he made contact with the next guy and still kept working for a few yards after that fact.
Also, EKP, I don't know their defensive scheme, but this doesn't look gap sound to me. If you look at this D end, crashes in a whole gap and a half, sets himself up, and then no linebacker fill. So you were left one-on-one, and Fraser took care of that himself.
That was great play by the Nottingham offensive line as well. You get taught this as former linemen. So if you see a guy go inside, just wash him down and take him down the line.
Yeah, I doubt that scheme called for that, but if a guy goes across, you have to do that, and they did.
And it's a handoff to Fraser again, but he's got a lot of work to do here. He's going to be taken down there. Number 90, Sean Dickey of the Pirates, the first man to make contact before being cleaned up there by Michael Gervin.
Yeah, maybe trying to ride him a little bit too much there, maybe give him a break for a few reps, try and get some of your other Grant's talked about his depth. Maybe now's the time to get a few more legs in the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Pirates had the timeout. He's had time to have a breather, but there was nowhere to go. It was great flow by the Pirates there. And just not being able to get out there for the Caesars this time, as we see Tafrey, the single back in the backfield, but it's Fraser slot to the bottom of your screen with Oliver Tassin outside him, and it is Fraser in motion.
We've also got a tight end out in the slot as well, I think.
Let him take his time.
A potential hard count there as a flag comes in for delay of game, and McGovern is not happy about it.
I wonder if he thought the ref usually gives you a 10-second count. Maybe he didn't hear that. The ref's not under an obligation to confirm that you heard the count. They just say it. So
Yeah, so potentially that's another 5 yards back here for the Caesars. They're going to be in second and very long, pushing 20 yards here, as McGovern looks to the sideline for the play call from offensive coordinator Grant Lawless.
And this down distance, especially in this space of the field, really changes what you want to do with your playbook. 2nd and 10 from this, you might just take a run, you might set yourself up for the field goal, but now you push yourself outside of your own field goal range, really.
21 personnel, it's going to be McGovern keeps it, it's the triple option again, but Tafrey will lead block. McGovern down the sideline, McGovern in for the touchdown. The Nottingham Caesars will score again here in the second quarter and go up 13-6.
And that is Liam McGovern's second rushing touchdown against EKP. He had another one when they went up to Scotland, and he asked me on the field earlier today, if I score anything, if I do a really good job, can you shout out my grandma Elizabeth who watches the stream? So shout out to Elizabeth. That was some wheels.
That was some wheels. And also, the unsung hero of that play, Wellington Tafrey, converts from being the running back into being the lead blocker and manages to make the hole down at the sideline there. So The snap is back. The kick is up. The kick is away. It donked off the crossbar on the way back, but it was good. The Nottingham Caesars will take an 8-point lead here against the Pirates. 14-6, already outscoring what they did when they went up to East Kilbride.
If you've been around Britwell for a long time, you're going to see a lot of triple option. It gets different looks and wrinkles and motions and things like that. But really, at its core, you need a smart quarterback who's athletic, and then you need running backs who can adjust on the fly. Because you see, just in that play, you have, is it a handoff? No. Is it a QB keep? Okay, maybe he can pitch it. Then you turn into a fullback. You have one or two people doing 2 or 3 jobs. That's how you get a numbers advantage. And then obviously, as you mentioned, he's got some wheels. And people underestimate. He's not slow.
And I'm just going to say one thing, given I saw one of their former coaches earlier. Leeds Beckett University.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For those of you who want to watch some what would be called 1920s triple option, go watch some of the old Leeds Beckett University footage where they run it all out of the wishbone and the flexbone.
To throw back to, we'll get this play, then I'll talk more.
It's a kick. It is deep, and it will not be fielded by the Pirates. Number 3 of the Pirates there. Aaron McDonald lets that go over his head. Pirates to take over from the 20-yard line.
That's convenient of them to kick it out so I can get my story finished. You mentioned David Isignon earlier when he played against that triple option at Beckett. And I remember talking to their coaches afterward and our coaches as well. And they said, you look like a really good coach when you have a player like David Isignon. Because they do all this misdirection, but then he was still like twice as fast as people, so it didn't really matter. So that to shut down the triple option, you need really athletic and smart linebackers.
You do indeed. Bailey in motion into the fullback. Gallagher quick to the outside, but he's going to be taken in by number 88, Fraser McDonald, before being taken down immediately by the defensive back.
Yeah, working there for maybe an extra yard or so, turning that 4-yard catch into maybe a 6-yard, see where they spot it. Ooh.
I think it was 6 yards as well. We're just looking at the comments on the stream. Henry Scanlon, those on Mickey's stag do have been holding the team back, in my opinion. A couple of the team not here because one of the Caesars coaches has his stag do this weekend. Because why wouldn't you do it on a bank holiday weekend? They're very clearly watching from. I don't actually know where they are this time, but wherever they are, as Gallagher drops back, quick throw out to Stewart, almost intercepted by Marshall Odenure, but Stewart is going to take that up the sideline, keeps going down the sideline before being taken down. An enormous play, and another 15 yards to be tacked on for what I presume is going to be a horse collar tackle there.
Horse collar or face cage.
Something on it, yeah.
Something pulling from the helmet area where it shouldn't be.
Yeah, so it looks like the Pirates in one play are going to go from well in their own territory up to the Caesars 20-yard line and be straight into the red zone.
White hats here.
Horse collar tackle. I think that was number 50 of the Caesars. That's Juan Wasso.
And as much as you don't want to give away a free 15 yards, if it's between that and a breakaway touchdown as a DC, you're probably going to let it slide.
It's one of those where you tell a DB to very much take the PI if you know you're going to get a touchdown call on you.
The thing is, to have it be a horse collar, there has to be aggressive force on it from a certain place. So there's ways to tackle people from behind without it, but I think in the heat of the moment, that's much easier said than done.
It is.
But it is a safety thing.
Gallagher drops back, pressure coming through from number 54, and from the DB, gets it down and gets it out. Good completion alongside there to McDonald as a pickup of 6 yards.
And as we said last time on the broadcast, we don't know how long's left in the game, unfortunately. Getting to the sideline might be a really crucial thing at this point. It's been a while since we changed for the quarter.
I think we've got 15 minutes of real time. How long that actually means we've got, I have no idea. But normally it's till about 5 past the hour when the first half ends. But Gallagher and Stewart have been outstanding today as Bailey motions in, and it is Stewart up the middle, but with nowhere to go. He's going to get folded down after a gain of a yard or two. It's going to be 3rd and short incoming for the Pirates.
And this really gives you all of your playbook to play with. You've got so many different things you can work with this. And if it doesn't work, you've still got 4th down here. You're a score down. Why not take that opportunity?
And with how Stewart's been running, other than a couple of big losses, which I think came from the offensive line, much more so than Stewart's running, you wouldn't go away from him. Really heavy pressure. Gallagher drops back, but he's going to be taken down. A big sack on 3rd down here for the Caesars, and it's going to push the Pirates a long way back. If they want to kick a field goal, you're looking at well over a 30-yard field goal now. if the Pirates wanted to try and convert.
Yeah, and that really does change the maths on do you go for it on fourth down here instead of going for the sneak, or if there's 2 yards to go, you're really having to look at what have I got that can get me 11 yards.
The
I'm
worst,
not going to kick.
the worst thing Gallagher could have done there is take a sack, but that is what happened. But the Pirates will stay on the field. 4th down and 11 incoming. Trips to the top of your screen. The snap is back. Gallagher looking deep, throwing down the sideline for Bailey, and he's got him in the corner and going to be taken down out of bounds.
It's a flag.
Sean is telling me there is a flag down on the field though, as we're going to see what is going on here. If we could just get a zoom out. Let's wait and see. But if this is against the Caesars,
I think this might be a legal man downfield based on where they threw it. But let's see.
it's much deeper than I expected, isn't it? We're going to check
Because
on
if
the
it was a
white.
hole, that wouldn't be where the flag was.
Back.
It is Sean. Well done on the call. Ineligible man downfield. One of the offensive linemen must have drifted down the field. It is 5 yards further back, and that big conversion for the Pirates is wiped off the board.
Nottingham have really sigh of relief there because they had left him wide open. I don't know where the miscommunication was on that defence, but he had all the opportunities.
It's a tricky one to cover in a man defense, the wheel route out of the slot when Caesars are playing this kind of switch man, where if one guy goes in, another guy comes out. Okay, well I'll stay outside. You take the guy going inside, even if they weren't lined up over them. But Bailey came deep from the inside and ended up deep on the outside, and that's where it is. There's a bit of a discussion here with the with Vanden Warner, the Caesars head coach, as I'm trying to work out quite what's going on.
Grant's doing a little dance.
Grant's doing a sideways Iceland clap, as I once heard it called, but it is going to be Gallagher again. Trips to the narrow side, top of your screen. You've got number 88 isolated at the bottom. Gallagher is going to throw deep to Bailey in the corner again! And Bailey, once again, it is the same play from 5 yards further back, and it is still the same result.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
And this, the sad thing is, Lloyd, you saw it. I kind of saw your reaction here in the booth. You read it. I mean, as soon as that was happening, you went, that's another wheel route. They're doing this again. But it's easy to see from the sky. It's hard to see from the sideline.
It's so much easier to see from the sky. But Gallagher will be 2 yards from Pader here, as he has Stewart flanking him in the backfield. You have to think this is probably the man it's going to. But the Caesars are heavy up on the line. It's not a false start called. The ball is thrown short of McDonald. It will be 2nd down, as I thought a false start was going to come there.
Yeah, the O-line not really looking like they knew when they were getting set on that one, not looking like they were ready to go, and then suddenly moving.
Yeah, an interesting one there as, oh hang on, we've got the white hat coming to offside called against the Nottingham Caesars. It will still be 1st down, and that's really, the yardage isn't the concern here. It's the down that hasn't been lost for the Pirates. But after that, a short arm to McDonald, you would think, even with the number of defensive linemen up on the screen, you would think this is for Stewart, and it is for Stewart, but he's not going to make it. A chop down from the side there as the DB comes in to get straight at the legs of Stewart.
At 25, I don't know if we have a number for that, but he came in from the side and just blew that up. I think when you play the same team twice, is it twice in a row, right?
25, I believe, is Jack Rice.
Yeah, when you get that same play twice in a row, you're going to read that a lot quicker. He knew as soon as that receiver motioned into fullback what the play was.
And Jack Rice is a long-time football player, really smart, played a lot of football over the years. Remember playing against him at NTU as he is blitzing off the side here, hits Gallagher, and that is incomplete. I was about to say I was worried that was going to be a late hit call. Something interesting, I spoke to Jed after the Newcastle game, and he said he's less likely to call a late hit if you actually hit him harder, because then you don't realise that the ball's gone. Whereas Andrew Wilkins got called for a late hit only because he shoved him, because therefore he knew the ball had gone.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's an interesting one.
Would you like to know a fun fact, Simon? Jack Rice was in at fullback in that game with David Isingnon.
That was a dreadful, dreadful day. What can you say? 2 linebackers in at running back and fullback. As a flag comes in from the sideline, I wonder if we've got a false start here.
There you go.
This is going to be interesting. Will the Pirates' ill discipline come to bite them here?
Yeah.
It is a false start. The Pirates will be moved back to the 7-yard line.
What do you think causes this many false starts by the same team? And they're good offense. We didn't see this last game.
It's the accent.
I asked Lloyd because I knew he'd give me a real answer.
So we don't know what sort of tempo they're playing with. If they have multiple cadences that they like to use, is that a confusion? Do they have a goal line package where they're trying to go silent?
We don't know, but Jack Rice, heavy off the edge, hits Gallagher, but Gallagher has hit Bailey in the end zone. Touchdown, Pirates. Sorry, we just had to watch Gallagher get absolutely flattened by Jack Rice there as the Pirates strike again. This now makes it 14-12 as they will stay on the field for the 2 point. Now the 2 point definitely is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, and you can really make up for not getting it earlier here if you get one now and you get that score evened up going into the half.
So it's Gallagher and Stewart in the backfield. Heavy amount of people on the line here as we get a jet motion from Meacham. It's going to be a Gallagher drop back. It's going to be a slant over the middle. And I believe it's either batted down or intercepted. It doesn't really matter at this point. But the score will be 14-12 here in the BAFA Premiership North. The Nottingham Caesars, after being 31-12 losers up in East Kilbride, are leading this game 14-12.
And you don't want to put that all on the travel, but it does impact it when you're going up and down. When you've got to travel several hours to get to these games, it is more difficult for the players. More people can't come to each game.
Yeah, so this is really going to be an interesting one here as we get the netball commentator shouting over us now as well.
Simon, I think it's probably worth highlighting to, if you're watching this and you're having a good time, I bet you most people in Brickball don't know there's a live stream on a random Saturday afternoon. So take a link, share it with your friends. My under 19 team messaged me and said, hey, there's a game right now, can we watch? And I said, yeah, sure. And send the link over. So share it with your friends. And
we already know we've got international viewers.
Yeah, exactly
so,
right. So join the party and then join the comments. We want to hear from you. Where are you watching from?
The Pirates will kick off though, and it will be fielded by the Caesars. It's just going to be run up the middle, but there is a lane, but the lane closed quickly. That is a great tackle there by Pirates. It looked like number 90, Sean Dickey, who has been flying around on defence and now flying around on specials.
Yeah, and Nottingham starting in not quite plus full field position, but starting better than that touchback, getting themselves into a bit of positive momentum, getting a bit more out of each play.
Yeah, and I've just had a text to ask to say some nice things on the stream about Henry Scanlon.
Why?
Can anybody think of a nice thing to say about Henry Scanlon on the stream?
He's here. He's alive.
He's not here, but
well, he's here on Earth. He's alive.
Deep philosophical comments from the American here, as it will be a handoff. Taffrey makes one man miss, and he's going to be corralled at about the line of scrimmage. There was big pressure from the Pirates there.
I mean, real talk, Henry's a nice guy. But
yeah. He is. This is where the mic's muted, isn't it? While we do this. So 2nd down and 9 incoming. Taffrey managing to pick up 1 yard there under heavy duress from the Pirates front 7.
I'm curious which line tires first, because this has been such a more ground and pound kind of game.
Defensive.
But that's what I would predict, but conditioning is a factor too.
Yeah. Oliver Tassin in orbit. Taffrey, it's counterplay. We saw it strike well against Newcastle. Taffrey still going, manages to get himself out of several tackles and somehow manages to pick up a couple of yards.
A lot of sizzle for not a lot of stake there, unfortunately. Really good work to keep the feet running, to keep moving through the tackles. But still, it's going to be third and quite a distance.
So, again, some people will notice this stream can bounce around between the game and random comments that come into my phone. Henry Scanlon and Will Hobbs are watching from, and I quote, the worst rated hotel in Manchester. That is what a stag do is for. 3rd and 4 incoming. Taffrey has picked up the hard yards so far on this drive as we see another orbit motion. We see a handoff and nowhere to go for Taffrey. Number 45. We don't know who you are. You're not on our roster. Number 43 is Fergus McNiven. You're the closest number. You can be credited with the tackle.
Very much Div 2 stats, that, isn't it? Yeah, you were near the ball at the time. That's almost your number.
Well, we don't have his number, so therefore...
Would like to thank EKP for giving us a roster.
Yeah,
they did better than Nottingham this week.
Yeah, they did much better. Also, thank you for giving me the roster yesterday as well, so I've had time to look at it as well. Some teams are known for giving me the roster 3 minutes before kickoff, handwritten and not in numerical order.
Peak Britball.
EKP have given me a lovely spreadsheet. So,
It's even got images on it and everything.
it does. They've even put an image on it. I've got a lot of respect for EKP. But 4th down, snap back, bullet of a long snap, and it is going to be a big punt here for the Caesars. Fair catch taken by Bailey. He's going to be inside his own 15-yard line. So the Pirates are going to have a long way to go, and we've got to think that time is dwindling. We haven't seen the 2-minute warning, but a lot of times we've said we haven't seen the 2-minute warning, and it's occurred at some point. So we could or could not be inside 2 minutes in this game.
Sometimes it sneaks in there during a punt or something.
Yeah.
They announced that on the field, obviously. Like if that happens during an already stoppage or turnover on downs, obviously we wouldn't know that. But the refs are very good at that. They'll come over to the coach and say 2-minute warning during the stoppage.
Well, when we get a chance, we will go to the comments. But first, Gallagher will go to Stewart down the sideline. He's going to be taken down eventually, but it's going to be a pickup of a couple of yards there. Now we'll see quite where we are with the tempo that the Pirates move with, and they're moving with a touch more tempo than they've been doing before. No huddle here from East Kilbride. You've got to think that time is dwindling here in the first half. But what can the Caesars defence do?
Yeah, and we saw a lot of that swing to the trip side when they went up to Scotland. We've not seen it work as well so far, so are they trying to get back to what they think works for them?
Heavy pressure from Andrew Wilkins came through the middle. The ball is thrown up and it's thrown out to the sideline. I just want to check they've not given intentional grounding. That's a grey area whether or not it's given. Quick look to the comments. We've got Coach Russ, head coach of the Cambridgeshire Cats. Hi guys, great commentary, evenly matched game, and shout out to the coaches. And we've got someone whose username I will not be reading out, saying shout out to the East Kilbride DB.
They have called the penalty, I think.
Oh, they have
It might
called-
be grounding based on they've thrown it late in the pocket.
They have, so this is potentially intentional grounding. Let's just
Let's see the white hat cut some shapes.
will we see the diagonal double hands thrown towards the floor? But yeah, we've got someone saying they're watching from Slovenia.
Yeah, we have got it.
Intentional grounding against Logan Gallagher there. That will be a loss of yardage and a loss of down as well. So really interesting to see what the Pirates do here. Do you just run the ball, given how close you are to your own end zone, with actually Gallagher stood in his own end zone right now? Do you run the ball, make the Caesars take a timeout, put the ball away? Do you try a deep pass saying, okay, well, we're probably not going to gain a first down?
I do that wheel route again.
I do that wheel route to Bailey. But heavy pressure here. Caesar's going for the safety. And it looks like Gallagher's going to be able to dance out and taken down at about the 3 or 4 yard line. I think the Pirates have got away with what looked like it could have been a chop block deep in the end zone, which would have given the Caesars a safety. But now we've already seen one punt blocked. The Pirates have got to get this one away clean, or you've got to think the Caesars will be scoring some amount of points here.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to get your usual 12, 15 yard long snap for this punt. It's going to be short snapped almost. And you've then got to try and kick the ball high enough to clear your offensive line while also getting yourself out of the shadow of the end zone.
Simon, you did a lot of... Oh, I cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Luke. No, finish what you said.
It's a really difficult task to ask of this punter. He's only one step back from being out of bounds.
You're going to expect heavy pressure from the Caesars, and heavy pressure is brought, but the punt is away, and it's a great punt by the Pirates. In terms of sort of getting it away, I didn't realise that was going quite so far to the sideline. Now we get to play the game this week off, pick a random spot, anywhere on the sideline and call it there. But the Caesars are going to take over from, it looks like the 25-yard, he just picked the solid line, didn't he?
I do have a theory that referees just like the big line.
They like the big line.
If it's the 41, the 39, put it in the middle.
Put it in the middle.
Put it on the big line.
So there we go. And it was a good punt there. As I think I know what Sean was about to say, because I've had to snap a couple of those in really short situations.
Well,
it's really hard.
I was going to jokingly say you did a lot while you were president here at University of Nottingham, but get 10-yard end zones was not one of the things you could manage. They are slightly shorter than
they're 8.5, Sean. That'll do.
Yeah, that's. Hey, I'm just saying it affects these plays.
Snap back, McGovern. McGovern boot out to the right, and that is Gabriel Ojo down the sideline, and he's just out of bounds. It's not going to be a touchdown. It was 1 or 2 feet out of bounds. But what a play for the Caesars there. He gets himself out of bounds. The clock stops. I mean, I've got to think we're inside the 2-minute warning, really. Because we've not seen it, but I mean, half the time we don't see it anyway.
Love myself a naked boot rollout by the quarterback.
And I love the fact that he kept running even though he had gone out of bounds. You know what? If the ref didn't see it, it didn't happen.
The unfortunate thing is the ref did see it.
Yeah.
It was a pickup.
It's the blue lines.
The
red lines. You might have
red
been
lines
scored.
would have been fine.
Could have
It
been
was
a score.
a pickup of, again, the Caesars' favourite pickup today, 11 yards. It will be a first down and 10 from the 14-yard line. It's still McGovern and Taffray in the backfield.
We've still got a tight end and a
Still
close
got a tight
side.
end. Oliver Tassin in the orbit motion, and
Hard count to a timeout. That's you couldn't see it from the side, but timeout from the sideline.
timeout from the sideline. So the Caesars have taken a timeout here. Clearly something they didn't like there. Apologies, I didn't get to read out the EKP defensive back that's being shouted out. That is Harry Balzacs, who is being shouted out there from the comments. And someone's just pointed out, EKP, between all three age groups, so under 16s, 19s and adults, have only lost one game this year.
Oh, wow.
Which is outstanding stat. I'd like to remind you, you're really only 2 games into the season. So, come back to us at the end of the year and we'll see. It's like Rushmore. Rushmore are a genuinely terrifying programme when you look at under 16, under 19 and adult in terms of how many games they lose. It's not very many. Apart from the adult team now, they're in the Premiership, but they do have to play the Warriors, so I have levels of
sympathy.
I have levels of sympathy for you. But timeout taken by the Caesars, and they are within striking distance here at the end of the first half. So, not much longer to go here, we would think. It's going to be trips to the narrow side of the field. Trips to the bottom of your screen. It's still Taffray in. It is Harrison, the single receiver to the top of the screen.
Single covered.
Single coverage, who could be targeted, but McGovern doesn't look that way. He looks over the middle, and that is incomplete. That was a big hit by the DB, but I wonder if wearing number 84 today is Kingsley Eke. It looks about right in terms of body type and size. He is that sort of small, nimble slot receiver. Couldn't quite bring that in. It was slightly on the back shoulder, but he had to keep it away from the safety who was lurking in there.
Yeah, and we see them now pushing the trip side with the tight end to the wide side.
So, 2 to the top of the screen, 3 to the top of the screen if you include the tight end. It's returned from Eke. It's thrown over the middle. Gabriel Ojo has been a reliable target so far today, but could not pick up enough yards for a first down. He will be on the 10-yard line as we wait to see the chains move up. It will be third down and about 6 yards to go here for the Caesars as the netball buzzer rudely interrupts us here. The netball score is 24-19, if anybody's interested.
For the record, it's a great game.
It is a great game.
Really
watching
high
it.
level.
4 phenomenal games of netball going on, but can't
Oh, here's
commentate
that
on
motion.
Flex out here. Harrison, Eke, Oliver Tassin, all flex out. And it's going to be a jump. The Pirates are offside, but the referees blow it dead again. The referee's being really early with the whistle. But what's interesting here is that the Caesars will move to
Caesars are walking
third.
backwards.
Caesars are walking backwards.
It must have been simultaneous movement.
Let's try and watch the white cap. It was false start called against the Caesars. I must admit I didn't see that one. Didn't see that one happen.
Is it third down? I'm not sure they
It
really
is
care
third.
about 5 yards. They just want 2 plays.
Yeah, it is third down here. So third and 11 incoming. We know the Caesars can pick up 11.
Yeah.
So interesting to see what happens here. Trips to the bottom. Harrison, the single receiver to the top side, but you can see the safety. He wants to double cover him. McGovern looks for Eke again over the middle, and this time Eke will come down with it. That is a catch there, and the Caesars are just not moving up.
We'll see. Yeah, what are we?
What-
Must have
Liam's
dropped it.
walking over to the
But
officials.
there's no flag, but the official called it a catch, and there's far line judges come in to say something.
It might be the half.
Unless something daft like a timeout was called before the play and they allowed the play. It
Timeout
was
just before the touchdown.
Caesars,
The big play, rather.
Caesars called a timeout before the big play, and it wipes their own play off the board. So rare you see that because the referees are supposed to stop the play very quickly.
You almost want to do over there. You're like, well, you didn't actually stop it. You didn't give me my timeout when I wanted to.
So this is the thing. The rule I've always known is that the timeout only gets called by the official. It doesn't. The coach asks for the timeout, and the official calls it. If the official didn't call it before the play, as far as I'm aware, the play should stand.
Sure,
I'm looking over at our official in training.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, you are right in that the coach says timeout, and it depends if you got it off in time and if you made it clear to the official. But yeah, it's a bit on. Maybe they called it a bit late, and also we don't have audio from the field, so maybe a referee did blow a whistle, and that might have factored into why the completion. happened.
Yes, potentially. If the official blew his whistle,
And then everyone's still running.
But everyone's still around. Then,
as I've heard refs say before. Oh wait.
McGovern, he looks for Harrison down the left sideline. It is going to be incomplete. Harrison wants the pass interference, but nothing called. Kerr Stewart there on the pass breakup. So 4th and 11 incoming.
What I've heard from officials in the past is, look, if a whistle happens for any reason, we can't count a play that happens after it. Period. Is it because what would that encourage? Players to keep playing after the whistle. So if there's an inadvertent whistle, if there's a quiet whistle on one half of the field only hears it, or so, you have to stop. Because you can't start counting plays retroactively after whistles.
Yeah, we'll show you the lineup from the end zone camera, and we'll flick back to the broadcast camera. It is going to be a deep field goal here. Snap back, kick is away, and the kick is, we'll wait for the signal. Was no good. I thought it was good. No good. I think that's Will Morgan, the specialist kicker there for the Nottingham Caesars. Does not extend the points lead to 5. I think all of us thought that was good. I think it probably snuck just to the left of the upright. I think it does, looking at the...
Yeah.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, by about a foot or so.
A couple of feet separate the Caesars from a 5-point lead. But now it will be interesting again to see the tempo of the Pirates. They've still got a couple of timeouts remaining. They've shown they can get down the field, particularly with Bailey, the red-armed slot receiver you can see there to the top of your screen. He's now in motion, comes in, and it's going to be a handoff. It's a new running back here. That is not Mark Stewart. Let's see if we can get a number there. Is it number 26, Mike Curtis Sopp? It might be. It is. So he is the running back. Mark Stewart has been subbed out for the time being. The Pirates are in the no huddle, going with tempo. What can they do? 3 on the line for the Caesars. A quick throw out there. I think that is number 88. It is. Fraser McDonald brings that in. But good tackling from the Caesars. Something we haven't seen over a previous couple of games.
And 88 slow to get up, and he's been a reliable part of their offense all day.
Yeah, he has. We'll pan away from that. But if he is slow to get up, it will cost the Pirates a timeout. So will he be able to, not in a horrible way, crawl off the sideline and get a new receiver in? Because if you... Yeah, so either he couldn't get himself off the field. We will always pull away from injuries. We're not going to show those. We're not the NFL. So if it was that he couldn't get off the field, it will cost the Pirates a timeout.
I would point out, in this particular case, you wouldn't want anyone moving off the field before you were sure, because I don't know where the injury was, but from the looks of it, it was something above the shoulders. Could be a shoulder, could be neck, whatever. Obviously, the medics are doing the assessments. He is up though now. The medics.
He is. Sorry, I've just had a text in saying we haven't had good tackling ? Crazy from you. we wonder who that one came in from. We don't need to name names, do we?
I love these blue lines. Can the game MVP be the blue lines?
I mean, it depends what the score is at the end of the day. So the Pirates here, 3rd down and 3 incoming. Stewart not in the backfield. It's still Curtis Sopp in the backfield. There's some questions around whether there was movement from the right tackle there. Heavy pressure going to be brought from the slot left, and that is intercepted. It's picked off by the Caesars, and that is going to be a big turning point here. How much time do the Caesars have to go down the field? 30 yards is all they have left to go. And I wonder just how much time they've got.
6 read it like a book. He spotted what that was. I don't even know if his first steps. His second step was to cut that off.
Yeah, really. For Nottingham right now, how many timeouts have they got left? I think we've seen 2 so far. They might still have one in the bag.
They've potentially got 1 left.
We just saw a kick a bit closer than this, but maybe they can get themselves another 10 or so yards. They've still got that timeout for a kick if needed.
Yeah, and I mean, the kick from Will Morgan was close as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So a 10 yards, you'd feel relatively comfortable with him re-attempting that kick. Although
Seems to be a timeout after an interception.
I think a timeout was just taken by the Caesars.
I
Is what
think
was.
so too. Yeah.
So that would be the Caesars' final timeout.
Well, that suggests they don't have a lot of time left, and they want to make sure this is the right play.
Yeah, this could potentially be either a Hail Mary or one of those quick, runs the sideline and just get out of bounds plays. Oh, I've just been told number 6 is Kingsley Eke playing corner.
That was a great play by
So it wasn't Kingsley Eke who took the pass in. It's probably Selassie Sosu.
Okay. But
Uh,
yeah, Kingsley, that was an excellent play.
Is Kingsley the guy from the NFL?
Yeah, he was.
Academy?
Yeah, he played NFL
Yeah,
Academy.
he can play
Now
wide
he's in
receiver.
NT.
They've moved him back to DB here this week, and it's working well.
And for some people, that wins him a Heisman.
Yeah, he's a tremendous athlete and a really nice guy. It's fun to see him move around the football field. You see that trips bunch at the top there, Simon. That's the formation we haven't seen all day.
That is, but we've got Fraser in motion, breaking the bunch. We wonder how much time the Caesars have. We do not know, but we will bring you this play. It's going to be a reverse. Sam Fraser's got the ball, but he's going to have to do some real work here. He's going to have to get himself out of bounds, really, if he wants to do anything. But he's going to be taken down in bounds, and you've got to think, with the clock rolling, the Caesars have got a lot to do, unless we've really miscalculated the amount of time they've got.
Yeah, unless we.
Well, they're
Either
running
way,
now.
we're getting more football. It's great.
We're getting more football, that's what we love to see. But a sweet reverse here, Sam Fraser taking the ball, and unfortunately not being able to throw the ball, which is...
Right now, that's a half.
Okay, so it seems like the last play of the half is going to be a sweet reverse, and at half-time, the Nottingham Caesars will lead the East Kilbride Pirates 14-12. A really interesting half here. It's very difficult to say almost what we think the second half is going to look like. We've had a block, punt, an interception towards the end there. East Kilbride, if they sharpen things up, I feel like they've definitely got a chance to score some more points in the second half. But the Caesars feel like they have the momentum. What do you think, Lloyd?
I think it's been really good to watch a great competitive game between these two teams. There's been a few things where special teams failures, a few interceptions that maybe we want to see. But both teams have been fighting once they've had those negative plays and they've not let it shake.
They have, so we will bring you back in the second half. We'll put our holding screen up for half time. So when you see live footage back, you will know that football is coming back. Thank you very much for joining us in the first half, and I hope you join us back again in the second half in about 15 minutes time, folks. And welcome back, folks. We are live here for the second half at the David Ross Sports Village in the heart of Nottingham. The first half ended with the Nottingham Caesars leading the East Kilbride Pirates 14-12. A scoreline that I think most people probably found unexpected going into half-time. I think people were expecting East Kilbride to sort of handle business here in Nottingham, but so far today it has been a ding-dong battle. Joining me back in the booth, Lloyd Stone.
Pleasure to be here.
And our American on the sideline, Sean Endicott.
How's it going?
So, interesting first half so far. Really, the East Kilbride discipline has cost them. And they've had a lot of false starts, a couple of defensive penalties as well. Is that something you think they really need to clean up in the second half, Lloyd?
Yeah, and I think you want to sort of simplify some of the things that you're doing on offense to try and get rid of those false starts, make sure you're working on one cadence. If you've got any problems with your formations or your motions, make sure that they're quite simple. Generally, we're just seeing that short motion into fullback, and hopefully they can keep working.
So both teams have had 2 touchdowns in the first half of the Nottingham Caesars. Sam Lacey punched it in from the inch line, and then Liam McGovern took it on the triple option for 2 rushing touchdowns. For the Pirates, Mark Stewart, I believe, took it in early for them. And then Struan Bailey has been a dangerous receiver who caught it on the out route. And that is what has brought the score to 14-12. Two pointers that were no good for the Pirates. And remember, they started with the ball in the first half, so they will kick it off to the Caesars here. The Caesars were trying to score at the end of that first half to give them that sort of 2-score, one before, one after, but the second half is underway. It's a line drive ball. It is handled by the Caesars. It is a fake reverse, and the returner is going to make a couple of men miss, and he's going to be brought down by the shoestrings. That was Selassie Sosu there, number 84, as the returner.
Yeah, Selassie, a dangerous fast wide receiver out on the perimeter, showing his speed there in between the blocks. And it'll be great to see what Nottingham come out with here. We saw early on that they were going into some heavier formations, but as we got to that real high tempo stuff, they went back to that trips bunch option.
Yeah, and what's interesting to me is that triple option worked really well for them, and it always netted them positive yards. And it's really difficult to stop a triple option. But the one thing we did talk about at halftime was just how disciplined in run fits the East Kilbride Pirates defence has generally been. And it's going to be a counter here. It's going to be Tafrei on the first play of the half. It's going to be a big gain. 5 yards on the GT counter there for Tafrei.
An incredible work by Welly to get behind his blocks and keep following those O-linemen up and then making the burst through the line.
Yeah, he's done a really good job there. He's punched his way through the line and managed to pick up 5 yards. Really opens the playbook here. Second down, and also first play of the half. You just want something to settle the nerves. Yeah, at half time it can get a little bit jittery. You just want to see what happens. Sam Fraser, he was in slot left. He now motions into the split back. We've seen so much of in the first half, and it is going to be a quick throw out. That is going to be well caught there. Ben Harrison, number 87. Big catch radius, and brings that in for a Caesars first down.
And it's good to see them getting the ball out to different targets. We've seen them attack the tight ends a little bit more in the first half. They're now getting back out to Ben. Hopefully get some more of those wide receivers involved as well.
Yeah, Ben's had a relatively quiet start to this campaign. Not much against Newcastle, not much in the other game against East Kilbride. But he's starting to pick up some receptions here today. A bit of a heavier package, and they flex it out again. This is something Nottingham have been doing this season. And that flex out leads back out to Harrison. It was jumped by the DB, and he couldn't quite bring it in. Number 27 there, Kerr Stewart playing DB. Jumped straight in front of it, but couldn't quite bring it in.
Yeah, Liam McGovern there forgetting that he's not throwing to the boys in white this week. You just don't want to see that from Liam. We've complimented him previously that it's what's between his ears that we like to see, but we've seen him be quite reckless with the ball to start this campaign.
Yeah, Ben Harrison coming into this game only had 9 receptions for 65 yards. Not the kind of stats he was used to last year. McGovern, second down, over the middle, and that is...
I'm sorry.
Does anybody know where the ball is?
I mean, it's on the sideline on the ground. I guess it must have bounced off of somebody. I'm sorry.
What on earth happened? I'm glad we all lost that football, because I'm trying to watch the replay here and see what happens. It hits an East Kilbride player in the head.
Oh, that'll do it.
That will do it.
It's not generally where you want to deliver your strike to.
No, and I thought he'd done well reading the mesh. You read that high to low, and he read the high route, and he was going in, and he's just left it behind. But McGovern is going to be here, 3rd down and 10, as there's a false start there from the left tackle.
Right as well.
Phenomenal dancing from the right tackle there. Right tackle new for this game, I believe, former ELF player, bringing some strength to that offensive line and helping them shore up Liam's protection.
Yeah, and that's something we've talked about it as well. Liam sometimes, I think he feels like he's got less time than he has, and he can take a little bit more time. He knows he's going to have to take a few hits occasionally, time to time, and he's a tough quarterback as well. But it's one of those things where you've just got to take that little bit extra time, let the plays develop. The windows are smaller here in the Premiership compared to Division 1. You don't often get bust coverage, and so you can't just take the easy wins. You've got to fit those balls into tight gaps. But what will he do here? 3rd and 15. It's going to be a drop back. He's going to look down the left-hand side, and it's going to be, oh my goodness, it's going to be caught. Josh Oliver Tassin comes back to that ball, and he takes it in as he looks like he's going to be hurt.
Oh no.
I hope Josh is okay. Josh, who tore his Achilles at the start of the last adult season, is down on the floor, and we hope he is all right. We're going to pull the cameras off it as normal, so we're not going to show it. But Josh did such a good job managing to rehab himself back from what is a really devastating injury in a torn Achilles, and he's still just as explosive as he was before, which is something that you can very rarely say for a torn Achilles.
Yeah, and he's in great hands there with the team medic. Becky seems to be working with him. Hopefully, we're not seeing him grabbing at anything, so hopefully it's not as bad as we've seen previously. Coach is just out to the field to give a bit of support at the moment.
Yeah, just to paint a picture for you guys, Coach Williams and Coach Barnard helping up Josh right now. He's walking back, so we can take a look.
He seems to be walking off on his own steam with just a little bit of emotional support around him.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to see he's walking off under his own steam as well. That's what you always want to see. It could have potentially maybe just been a little bit of cramp as he or a pulled muscle as he went down. And given we've got Coach Spooney in the house, you remember what happens if you get cramp? Pickle juice.
Yeah, that's very true.
It is very true. I just remember being at the Brit Bowl finals and just hearing him over the Tannoy announcement screaming it. It was always good fun.
It does make a difference. I at least in my experience, I'm not a scientist or nutritionist, so obviously do your own research, but in my experience, a nice shot of pickle juice can make a difference if you're cramping up.
Yeah, I think Aaron Rodgers believes in pickle juice.
He believes in a lot of things. Split backs in the backfield. New running back in number, what looks like 24 for the Caesars. It's going to be a handoff to Tafrey on the outside zone. He's got nowhere to go though. Couldn't outrun him to the outside, and it's going to be taken down. I was going to say big loss, but then the referee's coming in and spotting that about 1.5 yards further than he ever made it.
Yeah. Some sort of forward momentum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway, 4th down incoming for the Caesars. This is going to be 4th and 13. Wow.
Keeping the offense out there.
4th and 13, and they keep the offense on the field.
I don't think it's 4th.
Apologies. Second. I was really confused. It did say 4. The snap is back. The handoff is to Tafrey, and the ball is going to go nowhere. You see Mark Stewart there, number 7, coming in. I did say he used to play linebacker. So he looks like he's always playing stand-up defensive end here.
Man of many talents.
Man of many talents. But 3rd and very long after 2 negative plays here for the Caesars. It's going to bring up 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16 here. With something really difficult to do here. The Caesars have not pushed the ball particularly well today. Their big games have really been on the ground and have been set through Sam Fraser hurdling people. So it will be, what can they do? Can they do anything through the air? Sosu is the receiver, single to the bottom, Harrison to the top. McGovern drops back, he looks for Gabriel Ojo over the middle of the field, and it is incomplete, in and out of the hands, but even then, I don't think he was going to be making it for 1st down yardage.
No, two people on him and quite a distance to get to that 1st down.
Now, this is going to be difficult because YouTube does not like copyrighted music. So, if YouTube could just believe this music isn't playing, that would help.
Just talk really loudly.
That would help us out greatly. So, 4th down incoming for the Caesars. This does look like the punt formation. I can see Chris Baby out on the field. Although, huddling before a punt is
we might be seeing something a little bit fruity.
there may be something coming up here. Extremely short motion, and it is flagged, but it was actually going to be punted. Oh, this is going to be delayed game by the looks of it. Although that was an enormous punt there by Will Morgan. He is absolutely hoofed that ball.
Yeah, if they can get a punt like that when they go to repunt it, it'll be quite nice.
They'd be doing all right then.
Yeah.
So it looks like they will be moved 5 yards back. Delay of game, I presume, was the call there. So, punt team back out again. Gunner very offside before getting himself back into an onside position. I enjoyed the extremely short motion. Snap, back, punt away. And where will it end up? Struan Bailey is the man returning it. Can he get out of the tackle? He can. He's going to be taken out. Big hit by the Caesars, and he's going to be taken out at around the 15-yard line.
Yeah, and good work by Bailey there to get himself.
Roughing the kicker, I think.
Oh, wow.
Sorry,
there
there's
might
a
have a
penalty.
penalty.
Morgan's on the ground and there's a flag there.
There is a flag.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can't see it. There is a flag by the punter. The white hat is just in the bottom right of your screen, and it is going to be against the Pirates. But will it be roughing or running into the kicker? So running into the kicker is a 5-yard penalty. Replay 4th down. Running into the kick, roughing the kicker is a 15-yard penalty and an automatic 1st down.
He ran into his upper torso for what it's worth.
So that would be running into the kicker.
I'm about to say, let's see what shapes the referee cuts.
Roughing the kicker is where you hit the plant leg. That's a long run. That's a... have they...
I think they're just going to tack on the yards at the end of it.
No, they haven't. They've declined the penalty.
Oh, can you not tack it on?
So you can't tack it on because it's before the punt.
Oh, yeah,
well,
fair enough.
Before, you know,
Yeah, before the return.
kind of before the return. So I'm assuming they've declined it and said we're not going to get as good a punt again.
Yeah.
From 5 yards closer, which is fair enough.
Yeah. It's a shame you can't tack it on.
Yeah.
I understand why, because the order, but still.
Yeah.
Also, we want to see offense and defense. Punts are...
Well, Will also got a little hurt on that play, so I think he wouldn't have been able to punt it again anyway, even if they wanted to.
Short motion, Struan Bailey into the backfield, and it looks like the Pirates have almost gone for the triple option. It was a handoff up the inside, but the Pirates had the ability there to run the triple option if they wanted. Have they started copying the Caesars playbook here? They've seen what worked against the Pirates, and they're going to go, oh, we'll have a piece of that.
You know, you can't beat them, join them. And they've got that existing fullback sniffer, that motion into it nailed down. So just starting with the split backs and getting an extra person in there. Why not if you want to collect those yards? Not successful there, but let's see what we can get on the next down.
Gallagher calling for the ball. The snap is back. It is a quick pass to the outside, and the Caesars will swarm on the receiver. Number 2 there, Dan Crawley, was the receiver on the play. And Gallagher, I mean, he had a... Actually, apologies. Struan Bailey's had both touchdowns today. I forgot about that, because he had a lovely deep post to him. For some reason, I thought Mark Stewart had run one in. Who knows? Shame. I haven't been writing these down. I should try and remember. But yeah, a lot of his passes have been really short. These quick, what would be called now routes or rocket routes. As we see a double false start, 68 and 73 there of the offensive line. Kieran Thompson and Andrew Watts going to be called for the false start. One of them will be called for the false start.
Second time we've called Andrew Watts' name for that. A really confident player, somebody who's had some GB experience, not what we want to see usually, but see if they can clean this up going forward.
Yeah, and it's been interesting the amount of false starts, because it's not like it's an NFL style really loud stadium they can't hear anything. I'm sure they can hear down on the field. Struan Bailey in motion into the sniffer position. It's going to be a wide zone to the outside. This is Scottish football like we're used to seeing it. Mark Stewart rumbling his way forward, and he will pick up an East Kilbride first down.
And we have an injured Caesar on the play as well. I think number 5 perhaps. Or no, number 6.
Yes, that is Kingsley Eke there.
Kingsley Eke.
who had the interception earlier.
He did indeed have the interception earlier. I wonder whether his pants have just got a bit caught up or something, or is he gonna?
No, he's definitely limping.
He's definitely limping. With the way he was, I was sorry where his pants have just got caught up. Okay, yeah, he's definitely limping.
We're gonna help him off the field here. There's Jack Rice, I believe, jogging out to help.
Yeah, it is. That was some old school, what I would call Scottish football. Bring in a fullback and then have two leading fullbacks in a wide zone.
Perfect. Well, I mean, why are you calling other plays?
Yeah.
I mean,
It worked. It works well.
just do that about 60 times, score 4 or 5 touchdowns, you're good to go.
Makes tagging up the game really easy.
It does.
Does indeed. But Gallagher will take this ball. It is a drop back. He throws it deep across, and that is going to be. Oh, the DBs were beaten. They misjudged the jump, but McDonald could not bring it in.
They were really interesting to see that they kept 2 running backs in protection there. They only had 3 men out on the pattern. Nottingham were able to defend multiple people to each receiver.
Yeah, but even then, the 2 DBs, they almost collided with each other. And then the ball just went straight over their heads. It's really unfortunate there for the Pirates that McDonald couldn't quite bring that in. Sticking with this split back and sticking with Struan Bailey motioning in. Will we see this wide zone again to the far side? We will indeed. Mark Stewart's going to take the ball, and he's got more than a lane. He's got the sideline, and he's got a Pirates first down.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. Nottingham are struggling to get to that outside, as we saw when they went up to EKP. They're struggling to cover through that, and they're not tackling securely at that point. Some good work. We've seen some better tackling today, but make sure really want Nottingham to make sure that the first man is holding him up and the second man's coming in to lay the hit.
Yeah, and this is something they're going to have to adjust to. Struan Bailey on the motion to the sniffer, and then running the outside zone away from it as well, which is a bold way of doing it. 3 down on the line, 4 down on the line for the Seasons, and this time it's just a standard outside zone. Mark Stewart will be the lead running back. Curtis Sopp will be... Mark Stewart will be the fullback. Curtis Sopp as the running back. He's going to be taken down. Not as big a gain, but still a big gain on the play. Gain of 6 there for the Pirates.
Yeah, and staying on schedule, keeping themselves making first downs. When they're not making first downs, they're making good runs to keep all the playbook open.
And when you're down 2 points and you've had a massive collision there in netball that wouldn't go amiss on the American football field, I've just watched.
Absolute Ray Lewis level stuff.
No, it was a little bit. Bailey in motion. It will be ISO up the middle. Mark Stewart, the running back. Mark Stewart breaking through arm tackles, and he's only just going to be taken down. But you can see the Caesars are fighting for that football. He's fumbled once already today, and they're trying to go after that ball again.
Do you guys, have you seen the movie The Longest Yard, the new one with Adam Sandler in it? This reminds me of when they just do that drive where they just keep running up the middle with one guy, and the only way to stop that is you got to have somebody meet him with equal or greater force.
Yeah. I once had a coach that called ISO 8 times in a row.
I mean, if it's working.
I've been in a Nottingham game where we called inside power for an entire half.
Now that ball, Stewart fumbled the ball, but he manages to get back down on it. That was an interesting play because this was a weird combination of ISO and power. Either someone ran it wrong, or the guard pulled. Yeah, I'm going to presume the guard pulled wrong because it didn't look like it should have been a pulling guard there. But at the end of that play, Stewart fumbled the ball. It was fortunate. He fumbled it as he was going down. He managed to land on it. But Mark Stewart really showing ball security issues here. Struan Bailey motions into the sniffer. Andrew Wilkins tried to go through the line, and they're gonna call so many flags on the field. Andrew Wilkins tried to go full Troy Polamalu, timed that up, and could not quite make it.
A little bit early to the dance there.
Just a little
Tried
bit.
to be Polamalu, ended up being Luvu. Frankie Luvu, the guy jumped over the line of scrimmage 3 times last year in the playoffs, and the refs came out and said, we can award a touchdown if you keep doing this.
Oh, that's who it is. You've just named an obscure Commanders player that I've never heard of.
It was a very famous play because the ref had to say, I'm allowed to award points if you keep doing this.
Yeah, but no one knows who the player was. The only difference, of course, between Wilkins and Troy Polamalu is the hair.
Yeah.
There's no other difference. You see Wilkins coming up towards the line. Gallagher, he bobbles the snap, but it is out to McDonald, who is going to take that for a Pirates first down. And you wonder when the Caesars are going to start thinking about jumping these short little passes. Very rarely have the Pirates gone deep. It's been a lot of now, hitches, rockets. you've got to think that eventually, much like Kingsley Eke did in that first half, it's time to jump it, because if you jump one of those, it's 6 points the other way. There is no catching you.
No, and it's good to see that the tackling on that was really solid. Wrapped him up, brought him down. We have seen that they've been able to take some of these little runs, little passes, and just turn them into big things from bad tackling.
Yeah, Bailey motioned in again, and Stewart ran again. This time it was an inside zone, almost split zone with the way the other back came across. Gallagher is absolutely orchestrating a drive here. He's doing a great job on the ground, as well as with his play calls from his offensive coordinator. 2nd down and 6 incoming for the Pirates, but the momentum is with them. The Caesars really need to do something to put a stop to this. And you've got to think, if they're not kicking PATs, they're probably not going to kick field goals. There we are, motioning again from Struan Bailey, who will be the fullback. Stewart going to the outside as the DB comes in to try and make the tackle. Better from the Caesars this time. They will shepherd Mark Stewart to the sideline with a 3rd down incoming for the Pirates.
Yeah, lucky there for Caesars to keep everyone hemmed in, keep pushing them outside.
People won't be able to see me dancing in the booth. One day I will allow us to have the camera in here.
Oh, wow. Separate feed. Put it on Simon's TikTok.
Let's not put it on Simon's TikTok. Gallagher, quick, out route. It is to number 2. That's down fumbling.
Out.
The ball was out, but he's going to fumble that out of bounds. Now it's going to be, where do they spot it? You can see the line judge right at the top of your screen. I think this is going to be 4th and inches for the Pirates. It will indeed. 4th and inches incoming. The Pirates have so little distance to go, but the Caesars today have shown that they can blow up the Pirates' offensive line at times. But they haven't done it this drive. Can they do it today? This looks like a jumbo package coming in here for the Pirates. 26, Curtis Sopp, and number 31, Matt Black, in as the running backs. Will we see the motion from Bailey, though? We will indeed. Bailey motions in, and it's going to be a fake to the outside, and it's going to go back with Curtis Sopp. Runs through one tackle, runs through the second tackle, gets himself down the 7-yard line, and the Pirates are moving.
Pirates doing really well there on 4th and inches, even out of the shotgun, able to get back to that line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and it was interesting motion there from Gallagher at quarterback. He almost tried to fake as if he was going to run like a QB sweep to the outside. We've not really seen that from them today, and he hands it to Curtis Sopp, coming back across the formation.
One of the cool things on that play is the running back looked like he was going to be running outside wide and did that jab step so quickly.
It was almost like a fake single back counter.
Yeah.
They come in here, King formation. Matt Black in, 31 the running as a fullback. It will be Curtis Sopp on the toss. Great tackle there by John Winter, the drill sergeant, number 97. Comes across and flattens the running back there. 2nd down incoming, but it is going to be inches from the goal line, maybe a yard or less.
Real challenge here for Nottingham. Keep the ball out of the end zone, but also not to give up away any silly penalties that get them another 1st down like we saw in the first half.
There we are. It looks like this could be an ISO again. It could be. And Curtis Sopp is absolutely met in the backfield. Wilkins and Winter are the first 2 on the tackle there, as it looks like there's potentially a Pirates offensive lineman down injured in the end zone. We're going to see, is he back up?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up. He's all right.
That was excellent penetration by, I think there were 2 or 3 guys that jumped through the gaps. They jumped the snap count, I think, as well. Really good job.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. 3rd down and goal. They're on the 3-yard line here. It's basically 2-point plays for here on out. Gallagher takes a snap, looks to pass, heavy pressure, and it's off the hands of the receiver. It looks like McDonald, number 3, it was indeed, that could not bring it in. Great coverage by the DB. And the Pirates offensive line, were calling for a late hit on Gallagher. He took a big hit from what looked like Jack Rice off the backside of that play. And now 4th down. This is, to all intents and purposes, a 2-point play now.
Yeah, and the inability to kick field goals here, or the choice not to do them, really showing its merit here. This could be an even game with the opportunity to go ahead.
Bailey motions in, handoff inside. Matt Black will not get there. The Caesars stand on the goal line, and they will take over on their own 2-yard line. A big 4-down goal line stand for the Caesars defense, and you've got to think the Pirates must be disheartened. They've driven so far down the field, and then all of a sudden they cannot convert that into points.
Yeah, but it's not out of the woods yet for Nottingham. They have had a few runs stopped in the backfield, and at this part of the field, you are really in what they call the black zone, where safety is a real risk.
Yeah, it is a risk here. 2 points as well would tie this game up if this was going to be a safety. So interesting to see what Grant Lawless would do here. He has only got Wellington Taffray in the backfield. It is a true doubles to the outside of the screen. Need a good snap here from the centre. It is a good snap. It's McGovern looking to pass, and he gets that ball out, but it is incomplete. Seems like Grant Lawless is one of those offensive coordinators who say, okay, we'll pass out our own end zone.
Yeah, and when it works, it looks brilliant. When your QB gets sacked and you give up 2 points in your offensive possession, not so much.
Not so much. It all depends on the outcome, doesn't it? It's like the coaches that say, why did you go for it on 4th down? And they're like, well, it would have looked good if we'd got it. McGovern in the backfield. It's going to be 3 to the bottom of your screen with the tight end and 2 receivers. Taffray in the backfield. It's a return motion from Sosu, and it's over the middle and incomplete. There have been catching problems there for Gabriel Ojo all day. They've bubbled in and out of his hands, and that was a perfectly thrown ball by McGovern. Left it low so he could go down to get it, and just couldn't bring that ball in. 3rd down and 10 here from the 2-yard line. They need yardage, otherwise we're looking at another one of these punting situations where you're going to have to short snap it and hope your punter isn't stood on the back of the end zone.
And I think we've just seen Chris Baby checking into the game, is it?
Chris Baby, number 5 there, the left-hand side of those 2 running backs, either side of McGovern on your screen. Chris Baby is typically used as a fullback, and it looks like he will be here. Taffray trying to go for an ISO play, and it looks like no yardage gains there. So suddenly, after the goal line stand from the Caesars defence, the offence gets no yards, and you've got to think that this will be a punt team.
This has got to be a punt, and it's going to be a really challenging punt. You are long snapping from your 2-yard line, as we saw earlier. There's a lot of things that can go wrong at that point.
There are so many things that can go wrong here. We've seen blocked punts already today. I mean, that was the Caesars that did it, but you could expect the Pirates to get there. They are a well-disciplined team.
On that play, we just saw the guard and the fullback. They just tried to go for the same gap and really ended up getting no one. You got to make that wrap all the way around, or you got to make sure you're getting a kick out.
Got to be careful here. The punter's heels are right on the end zone. They clearly weren't on the edge. He gets the ball away. It is fielded by Struan Bailey. Bailey has got a lane down the sideline. He's going to keep it inbounds, and he's going to be taken down at the 17-yard line, as there's a late hit there, I think, from one of the Caesars players on one of the return men of the Pirates. So I think another half distance is going to be tacked on. I think the Pirates are going to start here, 1st and goal from the 8-yard line.
Don't make a bad decision worse with an even worse decision. Really silly to go in for that late hit and then cause yourself even more problems. You had a great defensive stand, and now you've got to have another exactly the same. You can't break at all.
No, it's a personal foul there against the Nottingham Caesars. We did not get a number on the play.
Oh, he just shoved the dude in the back.
He 100% shoved the dude in the back. I didn't get a number.
I'll get it for you.
So the Pirates going to be taking over. I thought it was the 8-yard line. Turns out it will be the 5? How can it be the 5?
With the nice blue lines we can see.
How can it possibly be the 5? They went at the 10.
Zebra magic.
Half the distance to the goal from where the flag was, I guess.
Oh.
Or where the ball was when the flag happened.
But he was out of bounds. Motion, Curtis Sock from left to right. It's going to be a fake hand up the inside. Gallagher is going to keep it on the option, and he's going to be taken down. Andrew Wilkins has been hunting him down all day. Apologies, that's not Andrew Wilkins. I thought it was 22, not 32. That's potentially Paddy Fisher. Who knows?
Who knows?
Paddy Fisher, you can have that tackle. Actually, I would be surprised if he was here thinking about it.
Brother Stag doing it.
Brother Stag doing it. Harry Johnson, number 32. Let's go with that. I think he was 32 in the last game. The professional quality we bring in here.
If you'd like to move the camera to the left.
Gallagher is the only person in shot here. He takes the snap. He's looking. He throws it on the slant, and it is incomplete. Big collision there as we look for the receiver. Was it McDonald, number 3, who is down and hurt after that play? I'm not surprised, to be honest. He took a heavy collision. So it looks like we are going to have an injury timeout here. No, it was number 88. That was That was also McDonald. Is that the other set of brothers that Spoonie told me about? Potentially.
I think they have multiple McDonald's on the team, but
It's
given
not
the
an
location
uncommon-
of the
yeah,
team,
it's
that's
not
not
an uncommon
exactly.
Scottish name.
I
is
wasn't
it?
going to say anything. It's like talking about the Joneses in Wales.
I mean, isn't there? Don't they? I mean, there's a bunch of McDonald's in the British American football game up in Scotland. I mean,
Who knows? So, interesting here as we wait to see what happens. I'm hoping he's only winded with the hit he took.
he's up at the moment on his knees, just talking to the medics.
I'm hoping it was just that it was winded because he took a heavy shot square and centre in front of him. So it will just be time to see what goes on here. So
we seem to have a break from
Yeah.
this netball, so you can actually hear us.
you can actually hear it. While we've got a break here on the field, let's just shout out BAFA again. If you want to join their training program, scan the QR code and get registered, or just search "Join BAFA" on your search engine of preference, which for most people is going to be Google. I saw someone the other day who said that they prefer Bing.
Bing actually saw a recent spike in usage, relatively speaking. Obviously, Google's still
From 1 to 1.1.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when it's twice a no. It's Google saw a dip. Actually, some of the lowest they've been ever, because people are starting to get frustrated with AI results and being heavily inundated with Reddit as the suggested results. That's actually a big problem we're dealing with right
it's
now.
dreadful.
I actually covered that this week for my day job. Some scientists out of like MIT and a few places, they actually paid people to try Bing and then asked them if they were going to, and then saw if they kept trying it.
Folks, turns out Sean has a day job. But it's Gallagher here. Quick, snap out. That is the other McDonald makes one miss. And he doesn't get out of the tackle of the second. But he will be down at the 4-yard line. Pirates really knocking on the door here.
And good work by him there to get tackled early, but then drive through it to get those extra yards and to grind his feet for them.
And we have another injury.
We do look like we have another injury as we will...
Fourth down.
Yeah, fourth down.
So it's a big decision. Do you go for the lead with the kick when you're wide on the right hash?
I wonder whether they can kick, because they've gone for 2-pointers every day. So it's just going to be a case of what do they do here? Given they've had no PATs, which you feel like are one of the safest kicks you can do in British football, and they didn't seem willing to kick on the last fourth down either. So it will be interesting to see where they go with this here. But it will be 4th down and goal as we see the defender walking off to the sideline.
And we have seen them really get some success off that 2 in the backfield with emotion into that split zone, wide zone type of play. Oh, we're going to see more of that. They see,
This
got a
is
QB with his hand on the floor.
Yeah, it's a kick.
Struan Bailey looks like he's going to be the holder. Samuel McCormick looks like he will be the kicker.
Right hash short kick.
It's
That's
at
the
least
hash you
it's
don't wanna
starting
be
to
on.
look like a kick. Whether it finishes like a kick, we'll see.
That's not the hash you want to be on.
The Pirates will try and take the lead. It is blocked! The Caesars blocked the kick. Struan Bailey could not pick it up, and the Caesars will fall on it. The Pirates will still remain trailing 14-12, and the Caesars get a bit of breathing room as well. That's the other thing about blocking the kick. Actually, I wonder if it was blocked. It was a low kick. I think he kicked it into his own offensive lineman. But either way, we'll say the Caesars blocked it. And then what they've done is they've just bought themselves 10 yards of breathing room as well. So rather than being backed up on 2, where they were on their previous drive, they're now out to the 14-yard line. But speaking of 14, the Caesars still lead the Pirates 14-12.
It was blocked.
It was blocked.
Number 90 for the Caesars seems to be the one that...
Who knows?
Yeah.
Chris Baby is in the backfield with what looks like Wellington Taffray as the running back. It is going to be a handoff up the middle. Welly T makes one miss, and he's going to be taken down. Big gain though, 6 yards on that opening play, and that's what the Caesars needed to see after that previous drive where they had nothing for 3 plays. They needed momentum here.
Yeah, and big fullback in the backfield, or fullback running back, and a tight end.
Fullback.
Tight end flexed out in the receiver position now. We've got 88 getting into the hash. They're bringing some bigger bodies on.
Nottingham have stayed in this 2-back formation almost all day, and this is going to be another handoff up the middle. Wellington Taffray has nowhere to go though. He's managed to drag himself forward for a couple of yards, but that was Archie Ronald as being the first man there to try and make contact with Wellington Taffray. Is a little bit of fisticuffs towards the end of that, but it will be 3rd down incoming for the Caesars. 2 yards. I'm sorry, to pick up that first down.
Lloyd, I think fatigue is starting to set in as well. You're starting to see these stalemate usual hits are now falling one way or the other pretty consistently. I mean, you're starting to see that. And yet to see, is Nottingham's commitment to the ground game going to start paying dividends as we get later in this game?
Yeah, quite potentially. That might be what happens here. Tight end in at the bottom of the screen. It is going to be a handoff. It's going to be an ISO up the middle. And it will be a first down for the Caesars. They have a big conversion here. That is a chain mover for them.
And that is exactly what you want to see. Not just getting the first down, but keeping the ball on the ground, keeping the clock running. Obviously, we're still in the third quarter, but a person like Grant Lawler's already going to be starting to think about how much time can I work with? How much can I get myself out of the shadow of my own end zone and play this field possession game?
Yeah, definitely. They are moving themselves away from the danger zone of something going wrong with a punt and that potentially being straight in for a touchdown. It was a high snap there. It is going to be a handoff. I wonder if that's Sam Lacey, the running back, who's got space, makes one miss, makes a second miss, and he is trucked over. He will go down on the halfway line. The Caesars really starting to move down the field, and they are going old school, ground and pound.
And it's working really well for them. Grant Lawler spoke about his depth at running back, and that seems to be starting to pay dividends.
Yeah, definitely. They've really rotated through running backs here. They've had Sam Fraser, who's not actually been in at running back for quite a while now. Wellington Taffray. They've got Chris Baby as a running back. Sam Lacey. They really do have a large depth of running back. And you wonder, oh, Sean. Oh, Sean. It is a quarter change.
It's
and not
the
just that.
perfect
It's
quarter
perfect quarter change.
The only thing it could be is better if it was middle of the field.
It's
like
almost-
in terms of left-right.
It's almost middle of the field. They are basically not going to walk that ball anywhere.
Oh,
You
I'm
see,
so happy.
2 in 1 game, Sean. This is the stuff of dreams. But yeah,
You could also make people this happy by joining BAFA and deciding to do the halves this way.
I don't think they decided anything, but I will tell. But I appreciate the plug because we do love BAFRA. I can hear you guys now. We've been yelling all game, and all of a sudden we're right next to each other. There's no noise or music.
I can hear each other. I've just had to turn the microphone down.
Yeah,
Otherwise
no,
we'd
it
be
makes
shouting
sense.
up over the microphones.
These runs that we're starting to see with these split backs, you're starting to see a little more push from the O-line. And then when the fullbacks hit, it's just a little bit more oomph to it. I think it's starting to pay some dividends, and we're about to enter the fourth. Let's see if it stays that way.
Nottingham are gaining those half yards every time from these collisions, as it's going to be a handoff up the middle, but with very little speed being taken up the middle. There was no real gaps there for Sam Lacey, the running back, and he's just going to fall himself forward for about a gain. That's still 2.5 yards.
He wasn't even touching. If you look at this, the whole O-line is 2 or 3 yards downfield.
Yeah.
It was just a containment issue. That's the reason he didn't get more yards, is they didn't block a linebacker.
And this is the reason people stick with the ground and pound offense. You get into the fourth quarter, defensive linemen are so tired, linebackers are so tired. It's so much more physically demanding to play defense than offense because you just have to run after every play. That by this point, you are really struggling with these tackles. Cut up the middle on the run. It's another almost ISO play. And that one again is going to be 4 yards. It was only a small hole. But where that might have been 1 or 2 yards at the start of the game, it's now 4.
And you only need to average 2.5 yards of play if you're going to go for it on fourth down. You don't need to be pushing deep downfield every play. If you can get success in your ground game like this, why stop?
Yeah, why stop indeed? And why would the Caesars stop doing this? 3rd down and 4 incoming. They've got a little bit longer to go to pick up this first down. They split 2 to the bottom of your screen though. The sun is getting low, and what can McGovern do in the game here as he takes a timeout for the Caesars?
Fair.
Might not like the look, might have been something in the play that he didn't think was going to work, or it could have just been the ref was telling him to hurry up and he had a motion planned.
Yeah, potentially. It's always a difficult one to know because you look at it and you go, well, could you just not do the motion? I've heard some people say this. They go, well, why don't you just not do the motion and say, okay, we'll just leave the motion there. Half the time the motion's going to be the lead blocker. So you do have to actually make sure that they move.
Or if they're not the lead blocker, they're often the clear out route on the coverage. If you've got a pass play and so suddenly you've not got the men where you want them, you're not pushing a defensive back out of a play, you're not creating space. So sometimes you can do it without it, but the play's not going to be drawn up how you want it.
No, it wouldn't indeed, but the Caesars look happy. They've out of their huddle from the timeout as the Pirates walk out. So, 3rd and 4 incoming. The 35-yard line is the line to gain. The the Pirates, it's really been a back and forth battle today, hasn't it? It's been one of those, you feel like the Caesars are in control, the Pirates are in control, the Caesars, then the Pirates. Now it feels like the Caesars are back. As we see, we've just said he's not really been on, but there he is in the backfield. Sam Fraser, number 2. It's Fraser and Taffray in the backfield, and it's going to be a pop pass over the middle, and Gabriel Ojo will bring it in, and he will break 2 tackles. He makes the 30-yard line. He gets a first down.
And that's what you want to see. He's had a few drops earlier on, a few opportunities that he could have turned into more, and there he's took his shot. He's got some yards after contact as well, and really pushed that momentum of, yeah, we are moving, we are getting every bit that we need.
He had the first down yardage with a defender almost wrapped around his ankles. He manages to jump out of that one and pick himself up another 5 yards. And these are sometimes what we refer to it in the Newcastle games, hidden yardage. Those little bits where, over the course of a drive, it might add up to 10 yards. It's a free set of downs that you didn't have to go through.
Look at this formation.
This is a tight formation. I wonder if they're going to flex this out. They are not going to flex this out. GT counter. Wellington Taffray will run it up the middle, and it's going to be just a 3-yard gain there. The push from the offensive line was good, but they were met by the Pirates.
I think he's going to get a few more than 3.
Yeah, he got 4 yards on that. Which,
Are they giving him 4 now?
I mean, you'll take. Obviously, GT counter is often a big play, but 4 yards, that's fine.
Yeah, you won't turn down 4 yards on first down. You keep on schedule. You keep the chains moving. It just keeps that playbook open as well.
And it's avoiding the negative. It's avoiding putting yourself in those difficult to work with situations. Everyone knows what you're doing on 3rd and 13, but when you get yourself on here where you're second and short, or you've really got some opportunities.
You have, it's a handoff to Taffray outside. Can he outrun number 90? He does indeed. He's going to be taken down there. That was Sean Dickey, who's been flying around all over the place today, but couldn't bring Taffray down. It looks like we've got 2 Caesars, one on the floor and one taking a knee.
There was also a EKP player on the ground for a bit as well.
Wow, so we've got potentially 3 players down. We'll highlight the David Ross Sports Village banner here. We've got to say, big shout out to the University of Nottingham. They've got outstanding facilities. You know, two 4K cameras that they can film off. They let us stream this film up here as well. So a big shout out to those guys.
Yeah, and the David Ross Sports Village itself, some fantastic facilities with
It is indeed. If you want a premier American football facility in the UK
With blue lines.
with blue lines,
Blue lines.
I can't believe that. I genuinely can't believe they repainted.
Oh, when we walked into the field on Wednesday for practice, we were like dancing around. We couldn't believe it. People, I mean, look, we joke about it, but like it legitimately is a challenge to play on a field with red lines.
Yeah.
I don't know how true this was. I had no lineman when I coached at Trent who said he couldn't line up in the straight line because he couldn't see where the red line was.
That actually comes in as well. We saw.
I just think he liked to be really far back in his stance, but you know,
It's both.
could have been a reason.
It's really hard to get like the perception of how far you are along compared to the line of scrimmage. Receivers can struggle to line up on the line, off the line, and it also just looks better on camera. Look at it.
It does. It pops
This
up.
looks like an American football field on camera. Like if someone tuned in, they go, "Oh look, they play American football in the UK." If it's like those red lines, you have to be like, "Why are those rugby guys in kit?"
So the Caesars have got to pick up about 1.5 yards here. It's what you'd call a long yard. Naked boot for Liam. Throws it and it's short. He was looking for Ben Harrison there. He looks like he came into a tight end position. And he's left it short. Heavy pressure there. I think that was number 45. We don't have your name. You could be Fergus McNiven. I don't mind. Fergus McNiven's down as 43. It's as close as I can get. So 4th down. 1.5 yards for the Caesars. And they've brought Chris Baby, the fullback, out onto the field. It looks like it's going to be Wellington Taffray in at the running back position.
We haven't seen them go to that beast formation.
It's time.
yet.
QB draw. That's what we need to see. That's the beast formation you were talking about, but out of this look.
All my money says this isn't Q draw. It's not. It's ISO. It's up the middle. Taffray has the first down. He's picked it up before the big push from the Pirates. But that will be a first down for the Caesars. They get themselves inside the red zone. They have 19 yards to pay dirt. But more importantly, time is wearing off the clock here while they lead the East Kilbride Pirates.
Lloyd, I apologize for cutting you off. I just got so excited because they were about to run it up the gut. But no, sorry. You were talking about we haven't seen the beast formation yet.
We haven't seen the beast formation. We got a little look at it last time we were here. Are we going to see some more of that? They've gone to this heavy personnel. Are they happy in 12 and 21 personnel that they think they can make those runs?
Can I ask, do they have the personnel that usually run beast, they are missing quite a few players. If you're missing 2 or 3 guys in a specialized position, you might not have backups.
Who knows? Let's see what this is. It's going to be a hand up the middle. It could have been a triple option, but it's going to be a dive. Tafrey again pushing for extra yardage. Manages to gain 2 or 3 there where he should have really gained about 1.
For the record, Simon, if it's a triple option and you choose to hand it off, it's still triple option. You just chose the first option.
I'm giving the viewers at home, the readers at home, I'm giving them a little bit more flavour and panache here. Don't worry, whenever I had to defend the triple option, I only had to defend the dive.
That's
I
fair.
never once had to
Well,
defend the QB or the pitch.
If you can't defend the dive, they won't do the other stuff.
Exactly. 2 backs in the backfield, doubles to the bottom of your screen. It's Harrison and Oluwatassin, and it's going to be the dive again. Big hole up the middle, and the Caesars will score. Caesars will take the lead, 20-12. Lloyd, your 21-12 scoreline prediction at the start of the game is looking really tasty at the moment.
You never picked a team to win, did you?
No, he didn't pick a team.
Yeah, so you don't get any credit for that.
Yeah, that's cheating.
I just came here for a good time and I'm feeling very attacked.
No, this 21-12 is looking potential. I don't want to jinx the kick before it's taken.
So we will wait and see. I'm presuming that's Will Morgan. He's a specialist kicker and punter for the Caesars here.
He was a bit hurt earlier on the punt, so hopefully he's okay, and also hopefully it doesn't affect this kick.
Let's see what happens here. Snap back, hold down, kick is away. The kick is good. The Nottingham Caesars lead the East Kilbride Pirates 21-12. We are in upset alert territory here in Nottingham.
And what a time to get an upset for Nottingham. It's been a rough start to the season with the 2 losses. Get yourself a bit of momentum. Show that you can perform. Show that you can get those wins against good competition like EKP and take that into the rest of your season.
And Lloyd, building on what you're saying about trying to get that momentum, I think we also saw some adjustments, in those first 2 games. Some things they probably thought were going to work, they might take a little bit longer to develop. And if you look at the scoring play, obviously, I wish I could show the viewers, I'm sorry, but you look, Lloyd, from the end zone here, you got pulling guard from the backside, down blocks, and it's just being physical and playing really well. That's line play. We didn't see that run game in the first couple games. They've really kicked it up a notch.
Yeah. It's one of those plays that when it hits up the hash perfectly, there are some things that are just not better in football.
No.
As a run that hits perfectly up the hash. Here we have the weird formation here for the Caesars on their kickoff. A 5x2 stack. The Pirates running a player on late. We will wait to see what the Caesars do. They are up 9 and they kick it. It's a little chip kick here. Where will it go? It will just dance out of bounds. I know what they were trying for there, but it will dance out of bounds. The Pirates should... Hang on, I'm really confused because the official has signalled as if he wants to take it from there.
So I think they can take the additional yards.
Yeah,
from
they
the
can take
touch
additional
line.
yards or make you re-kick. Those are the options.
So I think they can take 15 yards.
If I'm EKP, I make them kick it again, and that's what they look like they're doing here. You're EKP, you say, we think our returners can make a play. You make them kick it again. The referees ask you this before the game. They say, if there's a kickoff out of bounds, are you more likely to make the other team kick again or not? Because coaches know that. That's really, it is situational, but it's largely a philosophy thing.
Yeah, so Struan Bailey is the returner here, and he's been dynamic. I think both touchdowns for the Pirates so far today. He's been great. So actually making them re-kick it is not a surprise to some people here.
And it depends how you feel about your conditioning. Do you think my guys are going to be better 2 kickoffs in a row? Because the other team, Caesars, just had to sprint downfield. Now they got to do it again.
They will, but this time it will be a really deep kick. It is fielded by Struan Bailey, who's going to try and return it up the middle. He makes one man. Oh, that's a big tackle high up. I was slightly worried that was going to be a face cage or something like that as he is taken down. Yeah, it looks like 84, Salasi Sosa, who has been a good receiver today for the Caesars, was in on the tackle there. Now the Pirates are a full 2 scores behind, being 9 points. We talked earlier, will those 2 points come back to bite them? It will indeed at this point. They're down 9, they need 2 scores. We are in the 4th quarter, folks. The sun is setting, the time is dwindling for the Pirates. What can they do here, Lloyd?
Spoonie's going to have to reach into that bag of tricks and see what magic he can find. He needs to find something that Nottingham haven't seen so they can't adjust to it, but also something that they've repped well enough.
But what they will go to now is Mark Stewart rumbling his way down the field. A gain of 8 on that first play. They brought in that sniffer fullback position there. I think it was number 19. That's Martin Gallagher, who... Oh, God, have we got another... Oh, no. Slightly different spelling. I thought we got another set of brothers, but it varied slightly variation on spelling here.
Could be potentially a Spoonie spelling mistake as well.
It could be. But it's Mark Stewart again. He's managing to bounce off one. Runs over the second man. Lays the boom here. And this is what we've talked about again. Defences get tired. This has been a ground and pound game. Scottish football has always been about the running. And Caesars have always had that mentality of running the ball. I think it's a northern football thing. Northern football has always been running. Southern football has always been passing.
Yeah, and I think it also comes down to a little bit on when the game developed, when those teams became dominant as well. You look at the old school London teams that did so well a few decades ago. Hold on.
Ball on the floor. Gallagher just has to fall on it, but it's going to be a big loss of yardage here. It's going to incur a 5-yard loss. It will be second down. The snap was just at his feet. And that's something, it's something you cannot have right now. They really need to get these snaps going cleanly. They've had it almost all day. And then suddenly, that one's just on the floor, Lloyd.
Yeah, so we saw a little bit on the film that we got from the trip up to EKP. There was a few issues with the snap, but generally today it's been fine. So that was a real bad timing.
Gallagher's going to look deep, and he's not going to connect there with number 19, Martin Gallagher. So Gallagher to Gallagher was nearly the... I'm having to be really careful with pronunciations here. It's hard.
But yeah, I think it comes down to when teams developed, what coaching tree they come from, and then also the culture. I mean, Scotland, we talked about it earlier, it's not a joke, or it is a joke, but it's also true. A lot of tough people up in that area. You get a lot of guys who are very physical, and you get American football teams that reflect that. I don't think that's an accident.
It's cold. It's easier to
There's that
it's
too.
easier to run in the cold.
They're good at winter ball as well.
Yeah. Light box here as we get a motion out from Mark Stewart. Gallagher is going to run out of time. He will get taken down. Big sack on third down. It's going to bring up fourth. And a really long way to go. This is what the kids might call fourth and an Uber. Because kids these days don't get buses, apparently.
Yeah. Definitely fourth and a megabus.
Fourth and a mega. That was the one. I quite like that one.
And he had, whether it was overcovered, whether he just looked it off because he wanted to see what he had elsewhere. The worst thing you can do here is take a sack, well, except for the interception. Worst thing you can do is get the sack because you put yourself in such a difficult place when you are 2 scores behind.
Yeah, 4th and 18, you've got to think the Caesars are going to bring out the picket fence here. Just stand on that first down line and say, okay, you can throw it in front of us, but you can't beat us. Oh no, they will punt it. The Pirates will punt away. And that is going to be fielded by the returner, who has got a lot of space to work with. Bounces it to the outside. Hurdles a man! As the flag comes in late. Ben Harrison was the returner who absolutely hurdled the man. We do have an East Kilbride player down on the floor. I'm not quite sure what the flag was going to be.
I'm going to say the EKP player ended up on the floor because of that hit.
Yeah. So Ben did ask if he had any good highlights from the game to shout out his dad who's watching the game and might be listening along. So shout out to Jiff.
It was a flag on the Caesars, by the way.
It was very much a block in the back.
Yeah, I panned away because of the injury, but we're all off the field now. But yeah, a block in the back on the Caesars.
So that's going to cost them 15 yards, and
that hurdle. It cost the hurdle.
It didn't cost the hurdle. We all still saw the hurdle.
Yeah, but now when you show it on film, there's a flag on the pitch, so you can't put it in your highlight reel anymore.
I would just like to say to the people putting in the comments, we're not saying Scotland is a joke. We're just saying it's cold.
Who said Scotland was a joke?
Someone in the comment. I don't know. I didn't think we said Scotland was a joke.
No, I said people think it's a joke when we talk about tough players coming from Scotland because they're tough people, but it's a genuine compliment.
It is genuinely. But talking about tough players, that looks like Wellington Taffray leading the charge here for the Caesars. A gain of about 4. I was about to say, the times I've had to go and play under the Wallace Monument at Stirling, they are some really tough games.
Under 19, Caesars under 19, 2 years in a row we've played Scottish teams in the Northern Final. Last year was EKP against some of these players, actually. The year before that, Edinburgh came down to us, and I told our guys, I said, look, a Scottish team's coming here, you can expect a physical game.
It's good to see Josh Ower on the sideline running at speed.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And Kingsley Eke's back in the game. Something I didn't get a chance to shout out on the defensive side.
Free play? Free play?
I haven't seen the flag, but it's thrown up like it's a free play. And it is caught. Is that Salasi Sosu? It is indeed big conversion for the Caesars here. Takes them a yard short of halfway. They are almost in plus territory. And they are moving down the field. But Lloyd, it's the time that is the biggest factor for the Pirates now. The score, they know they're 2 scores down. They know they've got to do something about this. But you can just feel those seconds ticking away all the time.
And the players on the field know those seconds are ticking away. They know that every play they give up or every set first downs they allow is another minute or 2 taken off the clock. It's another, we've got no opportunity. Getting a late substitution here.
2 backs and Ben Harrison in as that sort of H-back, J-back, some people might call it. Depends on your screen. It's going to be a handoff. It's going to be outside. It's a big run. It's a run at speed as well. That's number 24, the touchdown scorer. We're sorry. That is Elliot Jeffries. We did not get to shout him out earlier because Grant Lawless gave me a dreadful roster.
And
it's 5 photos on my phone.
And let's talk about this as well. He's got fresh legs.
He's got very fresh legs.
Because there was so much rotation in that, or so much split back early on. The O-line, the tight ends, the running backs, they've all been grinding out, tiring out this defense. And now he's coming out fresh and he's exploding through these holes.
Yeah, and that was a big pickup. 2nd and 1. I'd love to see the Caesars take a deep shot here. They've got time. They know that they can convert 3rd and 1 and potentially 4th and 1.
He's got single coverage on the bottom. But
It won't. It will be Elliot Jeffries with the run, and it will be another gain. 5.5 yards there for Jeffries. He's picking up good yardage every time he runs.
Yeah, and you've got to think that that is a very purposeful thing from Grant Lawless to keep some backs in reserve. We didn't see Chris Baby in the first half. Maybe that was a scheme thing. Maybe that was keeping fresh for the second half.
Yeah, potentially. But now it's really paying dividends, and you can see them there. Baby and Jeffries, 24 and 5, are going to be flanking number 12, Liam McGovern. And really, the Caesars, they feel like they're starting to have a grip on this game. You can feel the confidence oozing from that offensive line. And we've got a pull here, and Jeffries is going to follow the pull. He's going to be taken down, not after a gain of about 1.5 yards, though. Again, we've talked about it. Those yardage where it could have been no yards and then it's suddenly turned into 1 or 2 yards later in the game, it just helps them move forward.
And it keeps the clock running, staying in bounds, keeping everything nice and tight. Nottingham are in no rush to get this next playoff. Nottingham are happy to keep wasting this down, and if they get to the 5-yard line and the clock expires, like Grant Lawless said, it's the team that scores the most points. It's not necessarily scoring over an amount of points.
About to say the team that scores the most points wins the game, and we said, will the Caesars figure it out? Right now, they are figuring it out. Hand off again up the middle. Wellington, Tafrey will take the ball, and he will be taken down, but not after a gain of 5. Again, another big run. Solid run for the Caesars, and the clock is... Oh, here we are. Timeout taken by East Kilbride. Sorry, I thought it was going to be a 2-minute warning based on quite how they were signalling it. I wasn't expecting EKP to take a timeout.
Might be getting close to that 2-minute warning. Might be trying to get some extra plays out before so they can use that if they get the ball back.
Yeah, potentially. So this is going to be something to look at. We are 3rd down. The sun is low. It is reflecting off the down box now. 3rd down and 4 incoming for the Caesars. Even then, you feel like they might say, "Oh, let's stay on the field." It all depends on the amount of time they've got. But let's stay on the field. Let's go for 4th down, and let's see what they can do here. So the Pirates need a stop here, don't they, Lloyd? They really need to get... I could almost do with a turnover.
Yeah.
And just get that ball back even quicker. Because this is the one issue. We do not know how much time is left. But all we know is that it's dwindling for the Pirates. You can see the shadows getting longer. And you know they've had a really long day today. They started at about 6, 7 o'clock this morning. Come a long way down. And having done trips to Stirling, the legs are tired by the time you get off the coach.
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing as well is if you're down by a couple scores at the end of the game, you start feeling it a little longer because you know you're not getting home tonight till after midnight.
That's if they're going home tonight. They might.
Yeah, I don't know what their plans are.
They may be staying somewhere and enjoying the Nottingham nightlife tonight.
It's a good night.
It is a bank holiday weekend.
And
3 up the middle. It wasn't. They've cut up the middle. And Welly T, he manages to turn that from about a yard loss into about a half-yard loss.
I mean, it worked.
It did work.
Just took 3 guys, pinched them all into the egg gap and 0, and then just cut.
Nottingham's offence not in a rush to get off the field.
No, let's see what happens here. Chris Baby is being subbed off, and I'm trying to work out. I don't even know who 82 is who's been brought in.
We haven't seen a ton of the Caesars RPO with the quick hitch today. That's kind of been one of their staples in the past. I think now would be a good time to do. If you are going to do anything other than run, I think you want something that looks like a run. You have to do a play action or an RPO. You can't. I wouldn't just drop back.
So 4th down here, and something has happened. It's a Caesars timeout. They weren't happy with something. I wonder whether that was Grant Lawless up on the sideline saying he wasn't happy with it, because it didn't look like any of the players called for it. But a timeout here, 4th and 5 incoming. A huge conversion this would be to push the Caesars inside the red zone of the Pirates. Up 9 points. So 2 scores remaining for the Pirates here, as you see them jogging to the sideline, jogging off to see Coach Spooney, who's going to try and give them a pep talk here. So 5 yards, this will be interesting. It's one of those that you feel it's a bit long for a run, even though the Caesars have been converting longer than 5-yard runs. Recently they've been about 4 yards, 3 yards. You don't know how comfortable you might feel with that. So this could be a pass here. And we've not really seen much of the passing game. To say that Liam McGovern's come into this game with 349 passing yards, in the first 2 games he's attempted 69 passes. Whereas today, you know, think about it, he's attempting 35 passes a game. That's like NFL levels of sort of pass attempts. Whereas today I feel like he's only attempted about 15 to 20.
Yeah, he's played a far more game manager route, but not in the harsh sense. He's been distributing the ball out. He's been getting out on his boots. He's been doing all the things you want from your quarterback when they're not pushing the ball down the field.
Oh, look at this formation, Lloyd. This is about as heavy as you can get. 2 split. It's going to be a handoff wide zone to Taffray. If Baby gets the block, Taffray is sprung down the sideline and taken out of bounds at the 10-yard line. The Caesars are likely to pick up a 1st and goal here. And what an enormous conversion that was for the burgundy and gold.
Only thing he could have done better was take a near yard before instead of going out of bounds.
Well, it doesn't matter because by the looks of it, we're not inside the 2-minute warning. So as soon as the ball's been respotted, the clock is now rolling again.
Yeah.
So it's maybe cost them 5 or 10 seconds, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not the biggest thing in the world.
You had a great seal block there by Ben Harris, and then a nice kick-out lead by Chris Baby. It's a really good blocking setup with get the angles.
It is. It's going to be Wellington Taffray. Oh! Wellington Taffray went for almost a reverse spin and gets absolutely flattened. Mark Stewart coming in there. A timeout has been taken by East Kilbride.
You've got to think we're close to the 2-minute warning with the timeouts.
Or even, again, we miss the 2-minute warning so regularly. Even inside the 2-minute warning, it wouldn't surprise me that we have a lot of stuff to do in terms of technical things, so we are not always looking at the screen when the ball's not in play. So it's very easy actually to miss a 2-minute warning. But yeah, Mark Stewart absolutely flattening Wellington Taffray there.
If that's supposed to be a read on the backside, you gotta make sure to pull that as the quarterback. It's I don't know what the play call was, so I can't criticize if we made the right call or not.
The play call was wrong.
No.
Whatever happened, it didn't work.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it's easy to sit here and judge. I don't know if it's a called give or a called keep at this point, but if that was a read, I thought he could have kept it and gotten a few yards.
I've seen a lot of bodies on the line here for EKP.
There is a lot of bodies on the line. That's going to be Sosu in motion from left to right, leaving Harrison on his own at the top of your screen. It's going to be a look down to the bottom of the screen. That's Oliver Tassin who shakes the first man off and is going to get a bit of a push from one of his offensive linemen.
Yeah, we've seen 67 get out in space and get behind the ball quite a few times. Really good to see that from the O-line there.
Do we know who 67 is today?
For the Caesars?
Yeah.
No idea. I've given
Looks
up
like a Derby Brave player based on the helmet.
based on the helmet. I've given up with the Caesars roster as it looks like East Kilbride will take another timeout. So it's been a really interesting game today, from both offenses as well. You can see that it's really been a ground and pound. One thing that I've neglected to point out is that East Kilbride's leading rusher coming in today was Greg Black, who seemingly hasn't played today. He's over the past 2 games, 40 attempts for 194 yards and a touchdown. So he's averaged nearly 100 yards a day on the ground in their first 2 games, but he doesn't seem to be playing here. Now, that could be due to the fact that people have lives and they can't travel down to Nottingham, which is it the longest trip they can do?
I mean,
Coventry.
Highland adult team would be further away if they
I was
had one.
talking about this division.
Oh, in this division,
Yeah.
I think
Nottingham's probably, given where you go to East Kilbride, I would say that Nottingham's slightly further than Coventry. And a much nicer place to come to than Coventry.
Yeah, and with a game on a Saturday, it's really good that we can get more fans to it, we can get more people. It does sometimes mean if you've got shift workers who get Sundays off that they can't always make those sort of games.
Yeah, so it is always difficult, but obviously Greg Black has been a big loss. Mark Stewart's been the big rusher for the East Kilbride Pirates today, but only had 20 rushes for 71 yards coming into today. Wellington Taffray is the back. It's Sosu in motion. It's a jet pop to Sosu, who gets absolutely flattened. How he held onto that ball, I do not know. But Sosu manages to... It almost have been better just batting that down straight away.
Yeah, and the offense has, in a whole, really struggled there. I don't know if there was some confusion from the snap or maybe a difference in cadence, but we had a guard and a tight end getting really knocked back there.
Yeah, that was big. 4th down here for the season as a bird flies across the camera. It will be interesting to see what they do here. 9 points is a weird margin, but given the Pirates are on 12, I could see the benefit of kicking the field goal and saying, you've got to go for 2 touchdowns, we've stopped your 2-pointers already. Maybe you could tie this up. So it will be time to see as a timeout will be taken by the Caesars. They will burn as much clock as they can. And that screams to me a field goal, honestly. You see the offense walking to the sideline. I wonder whether they were just trying to burn the clock out as much as possible.
Yeah, and we've got the back judge lining up just under the box. They wouldn't have to tip whether they were going for the kick at this point or not, so...
No, he's left his drink down at the bottom there. That's what it is. As we've said before, it is surprisingly warm on that field. That field's probably normally about 3 or 4 degrees warmer if you're in the sunshine than the rest of the world around you. So even though it's about 15, 16 degrees here in Nottingham today, you're probably looking about 18 or 19 down on the field.
Yeah. Offense seems to be coming back out.
We can see the offensive linemen. I'm waiting to see the smaller bodies come out.
I mean, you alluded to this, Simon. I'm not sure how much...
Little Greavy standing over the ball, so I think it will be a regular snap.
I'm not sure how much a 12-point lead would be worth just risking it.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Because 12, I mean, yes, obviously 12 is more than 9, but 2 touchdowns is still 2 touchdowns would be enough to win it in either case.
Turns out Americans can do maths, but can McGovern score touchdowns? He cannot. That ball was nowhere near the end zone. I almost wonder whether McGovern knew it was 4th down or not.
No, but it's good to see that Sean has learned from Grant today, and that more points win more
we
games.
talked about.
More points is more better.
Yeah.
More points is more better to use. Oh, to be fair, there was a Caesar complaining about illegal hands to the face.
Yeah, I did.
And it was 100% illegal hands to the face.
It was hands really high.
The D lineman put the guy and then pushed the guy's helmet off. It was 100% a penalty. But hey, you know what? Refs got a lot to look at. There's 22 dudes running around.
Yeah. Gallagher directing traffic. That is number 6, Struan Bailey, who's come in at the up back position. It's Matt Black, number 31, in the backfield at running back. Snap is back, fakes the short throw and throws it deep. It is picked off. That looks like Harry Johnson, number 32. Can he make a man miss? He does, but he's hawked down by Struan Bailey. But that is a dagger for the Pirates. There, the Caesars will take over at the 3-yard line, and suddenly the Pirates might feel like the ship has sailed on this game.
Depending where we are on time, we could be in kneel down zone.
Could potentially be in kneel down zone. The Pirates have used all their timeouts. This could be a big upset here in the Premiership North. There are online websites that do community predictions, and the community predictions were not favourable for the season. I mean, it was about 2/3 for the Pirates. It was about a third for the
Well, it's
Caesars.
fair to pick a favourite. They just beat Caesars.
Yeah, they have
recently. Like
exactly.
it's not unheard of prediction.
It's not an unheard of prediction. It doesn't look like we're in kneel down territory. Taffray Baby are in the backfield. Oliver Tassin and Sosu as the receivers, and
Many men
Gabriel
down the line of
Oju.
scrimmage.
Can Tafrey pick a gap? No, he cannot. Taken down. It will be second down for the Caesars, as you've got to think that right now it will be slow and steady.
Yeah, and we're seeing maybe a little bit of tempers flirting there with the O-line and D-line getting a bit after the play's done.
One of them went to the ground laughing. You could tell that he kind of exaggerated a hit and was having a bit of fun.
We've all been known to do it before. Yeah. So Tafrey and Baby still in the backfield, the same personnel, but Gabriel Ojo is split out slot left. Baby's trying to lead as the fullback. Tafrey's trying to follow him. Big tackle from the side. Will he be marked short, or will he be given a touchdown? We wait for the official signal. No one wants to give it.
I'll be honest. I thought he was in, but they're going to call him short.
That is the most inch line I have ever seen. That ball looked like it is already over the goal line, but it will be third down and a blade of grass to go for the touchdown.
It's one of those ones where the centre picks up the ball to snap it
And pushes
made
it forward.
a touchdown.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm looking at the aerial shot here, and his knee was down. That's a really good call by the refs. Let's see.
Are we going to see that shift in from the D-line again? They really tightly pack that A-gap up.
Do we see the submarine here? We do not. It's going to be Baby. It's going to be Tafrey. It's going to be an increased lead. Lloyd, your prediction has gone up in smoke as the Caesars take a 27-12 lead here at the David Ross Sports Village. What a day so far for the Caesars. And we will wait to see, will they go for an extra point or will they go for two?
Well, I'm glad I didn't put money on that score prediction.
Now, I wonder, do we go to the other camera? Yeah, let's go to the other camera. Let's see the end-on shot. This is the other camera we have here at the University of Nottingham. What can the Pirates do? Will they get a block here? That is Will Morgan back, snap back, hold down, kick away. And even though you didn't see it, it's down the middle. And the kick is... Oh, signal it, chaps. Signal it.
Sorry, they're not signaling because there was a pretty serious hit against Will.
Oh, okay, that's what the flag is. You can see the flag there on the what we would call the soccer D.
Yeah, I'm going to check here again to see if it was plant foot or not. But
I don't think it matters. I reckon they'll just decline it.
Oh, I apologize. It wasn't Will that got hit. It was just a bunch of Caesars ended up on the ground. But I think it might have been a hold by the Caesars. So I apologize.
Sean, we got Caesars players down if you want to just track the camera right.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine. I literally only just clocked it.
Yeah,
so,
I think it was a Caesars getting pushed back situation. So I apologize. It wasn't Will that got hit. That's my fault.
What a round of touchdowns we've had today. We've had Elliot Jeffries, Liam McGovern, Wellington Tafrey. Who scored the other touchdown? The one really early on. I should have written these down. Might have been Welly T again. Welly T might have 2 touchdowns on the day. But either way, right now the Caesars will be leading 27-12. This is almost good. It's so close to a reverse of the scoreline from the other game. Imagine if Will Morgan had made the kick, and if this PAT counts, it would have been 31-12, and would have been a reverse of the scoreline.
Which will just show you the challenge.
We're back now, by the way.
We're back. Okay, so it must have been a hold of some sort or a false start with how it's been moved back 5. I'm really confused. We didn't look. It doesn't matter. Mark Stewart in a 4-point, trying to get the block in. Doesn't get there. Kick up, kick away, and the kick is good.
Hey, buddy.
The Nottingham Caesars will lead 28-12 here in the BAFA Premiership North. And this is something you've got to think has really started to save their season. 0-3 is a really difficult place to be, particularly in an 8-game regular season. And we know that one of these teams is going to be facing relegation come the end of the season.
Wasn't there a relegation game as well, though?
That's why they're facing relegation.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
So, so there's, with how it works, because of Edinburgh dropping out and Merseyside being relegated last season, there are only 5 teams in the Premiership North. There are 6 in the South. 1 team will get promoted automatically up from Division 1. So the winner of the Division 1 final will get promoted up automatically.
Okay.
I think.
That's usually what happens.
Oh no, the winner of Division 1 North will get promoted up automatically, and the loser of that final, I believe, gets the opportunity to play in what I've always called the £1 million games. Can you tell I'm from the North? That's a rugby league reference. Sean's here like, what is rugby league?
You've got 2 types of rugby?
What do you mean?
I'm very aware.
Rugby has a league, I know. It's rugby union. There is a kick deep here that's going to be fielded by the other Pirates returner. I don't know who you are, I'm afraid. Oh, is that Mark Stewart? Please tell me that's Mark Stewart, number 7. The ball is out. The ball is out, and I'm waiting to see how this is going to be signalled. It is signalled as Caesars will take the ball, and there is a flag at the top side of the screen. It is chaos here at the David Ross Sports
And if the Caesars can score another touchdown, they would have the tiebreaker head-to-head at the end of this year.
That's true, actually.
So you'd have to get to the same record, of course.
You'd have to be at the same record.
But if you beat them by more than they beat you, and then you end up with the same record, the first tiebreaker's head-to-head points. I was going to say here, but the Caesars beat me too with a fumble. If it's probably in EKP's best interest to just run this up the gut 4 or 5 plays and just take the loss. Because if they lose the ball and Caesars score, you lose the tiebreakers.
It's Caesars.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Caesars beat me to it by forcing the fumble. But we have to see what the flag is first.
I wonder. It looks like there was a bit of pushing and shoving, and then it looked like a Pirates player shoved a Caesars player, and the Caesars player did flop a bit. I will give.
Here's the white hat signaling.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the Pirates. It will cost them 15 yards.
Oh, and another unsportsmanlike conduct.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. He's asking for a number. Folks, this is why he's not calling it. Oh, okay. On the Caesars. So those penalties. Oh, and he's called.
He's pointed as if it's.
He's pointed as if it's Pirates' ball, but that's very much the Pirates' defense.
Nah, he's just.
Now he's corrected himself.
Yeah. Caesars' ball. So all those penalties were after.
They were all after the
so
play.
that's why it's not a re-kick. If it was in the middle of the play and it was just like 2 holding penalties, one on each team, then you re-kick it. But because it's after, the Caesars now have the ball, and if they can score here, which I'm sure Grant and Vanden are very aware of, this could be quite interesting.
There are possible tie-break implications here.
If not, somebody run out that window and shout it.
Yes, please. If you're on the broadcast, make sure Grant and Vanden know that he said, Grant, tiebreakers, you gotta get some points.
Caesars are staying in the 2-back personnel. They've stayed in almost
We've got an
all
extra
day.
offensive lineman on the field here.
They do, number 72.
Yes.
6 offensive. Oh no.
Oh, what are you doing?
Kneel downs are being taken here by the Caesars, and the ball is lifted in the air. That means the Caesars have upset the East Kilbride Pirates, and you see it from the celebrations. The Caesars win the game 28-12. The Caesars will move to 1-2 on the season, and they will defeat the previously undefeated East Kilbride Pirates. Now, Lloyd, it comes time for MVP conversation for today's game, and right now I've only got one name in mind, and that is Wellington Taffray. He has been such a hard runner all day. He's been so difficult to take down. Do you agree with that one?
Yeah, completely agree. For the other side, I would love to give a special mention to the name strips me at the moment, the receiver with the red sleeve.
Struan Bailey's had a great day.
Yeah, he had an absolutely great day and was really a driving force for EKP.
Yeah, he was indeed. So we will see the teams go to the handshakes, but today's MVP is going to be Wellington Taffray. Now, the next time you can watch us all on Caesars TV will be the 1st of June, when the Nottingham Caesars will have to take on the Premiership North defending champions, the Manchester Titans, who, as far as I'm aware, are yet to play a game so far this year. They haven't actually had a game scheduled early in the season. But that will be on the 1st of June. Unfortunately, I will not be here. As the other two look at me and go, I didn't realise you weren't going to be here.
I'm sure he's told me that at some
I think
point,
I did tell you that at some point. But yeah, you will hear probably Lloyd and some other voice in the booth for that game. But from today, the Nottingham Caesars 28-12 victors over the East Kilbride Pirates, and this really busts the Premiership North open. Everyone wondered how the tiers were going to shake out, and right now I wonder if there's any tiers in the North at all. But from today, from myself, from Lloyd, from Sean, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.